Holy moly, that seal's having some issues today.
He's like he's wrestling with a bear.
I know, exactly.
I am.
Can I just say it right now? Your hair looks really good today.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
I couldn't come on right away because I know you're artillery, and I didn't want to walk into lobbing shells. So
I've been waiting for you.
yeah, I was just looking for since I'm going to be on my phone, I've got a little tripod that holds the phone. I just can't find the frickin' thing.
That does you no good if you don't have it, does it?
Is that because you're old and you have the shakes really bad?
No, he wants to drink while he does the podcast.
That too.
Okay.
And that is allowed.
Okay.
We
I was like,
encourage that.
hell, it's noon.
It's 12:30
Somewhere.
Yeah.
It's 5.
Yeah.
It's 5 somewhere.
Well, see, people go with that 5 somewhere, and I said I've been doing it's noon somewhere a lot longer before that song came out. So,
Hey, lead heads. We are back with another episode of, I mean, you know what it is because you tuned into it and you're listening to it, right? The Talking Lead Podcast. That's right. In case this wasn't the podcast you wanted to listen to, you can tune out now and go find Joe Rogan or whatever it is you were looking for. But this is Talking Lead, and that's what we do here. We talk lead and all things lead and anything maybe even remotely related to lead, and lead in the form of bullets. It's not lead, it's lead. You'd be surprised how many people. I've got the logo and everything on the I call it the lead sled, my Yukon, and people at gas stations will come up to me and they go, "What's a talking lead?" What's a talking lead? So I guess we could do that as well. We could give you leads. We give you leads on great people, great products, great services that are related to the firearms industry here. In case you're new to us, but for you, a long-time leadhead, I'm just fucking around. I'm having a good time. I've got 2 great guys joining me today, and I'm going to introduce them in just a second. So if you haven't had an opportunity, make sure you go to last episode, TLP 375, where we continued our Liberty series, and we had Brian with Occam Defense Solutions, and we had Jared Seagraves with 212 Training Group, and we talked about, kind of kicked it off talking about, where does your local sheriff stand? So when all these unconstitutional and unlawful rules and regulations are being mandated, and I use the finger quotes, across the country, how are your local sheriff, your local law enforcement, the people who enforce these laws, how are they acting, how are they reacting? And that was all due to Chad Bianco. He's a sheriff there in California. He made a public statement about how he's really not going to be enforcing these unconstitutional, unlawful rules and regulations that California governor that one of our guests is very familiar with. And I'm sure he's probably got some comments on that as we get into it. But make sure you go back, listen to that. It's more of a thought-provoking episode. We don't really have a lot of answers, but it's a lot of questions that you need to be asking yourself. And we give some tips and tricks on maybe people that you should be surrounding yourself with to get the knowledge that you need to know. So go check that out. And then, of course, all the sponsors of Talking Lead, make sure you go and support them, show them the love that they deserve, because without them, this show wouldn't be possible. Fiocchi Ammo, Mission First Tactical, Kel-Tec Weapons, Century Arms, Buck Knives, and many more. So, those discount codes, it is the holiday season, and we've got many discount codes, and we'll be giving those. So make sure you check our social media. Our podcast, we give them out on the show. You got to listen. And then the big giveaway. We are having a huge giveaway. I'm going to go ahead and introduce my guest, and then we're going to talk about this huge giveaway that we're doing. My guest today, and he's been on the show before. He's a longtime leadhead, but it's been a while since we've had him on, and really been looking forward to this. It is Dwight Settle with SEAL 1. And you guys know Dwight. You remember, you longtime lead heads know Dwight. But for you new lead heads, Dwight, welcome in, and I want you to tell a little bit about yourself, but not just yet. Our next guest is he's from Oregon, and he's retired Army, Lieutenant Colonel, and he has a company called TAZ Fabrication, and they're making some awesome targets, and we're going to get him to talk about those, and his name is Kurt Mickelson. Kurt, welcome in.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So you're a new guy.
Okay.
And that's a real thing on this show. The new guy line of questions that we ask. We'll probably hit you with those if we have time. And I don't know, Dwight, if we've ever hit you with those questions, have we?
No, because when I was on, we were at SHOT Show.
Oh, we didn't do a normal show, did we?
No.
Yeah, so
we were doing that SHOT Show, and plus Ron,
Ron Bellin, yeah,
God rest his soul, he was on there, and it's hard to get a word in edgewise when Ron.
Oh yeah,
I'm throwing a cheap shot at him. He'll get me back.
Oh yeah. He expects that. He would expect nothing less. So we'll do that a little bit later on in the show too. But the big giveaway that we're doing a huge giveaway to celebrate our launching of our channel on Full 30. So Talking Lead has a channel on the Full 30 network now. And to promote that, to celebrate that, we've got something like 20 companies that have taken part in this giveaway. And we've got 5 packages that we're giving away, 5 winners, and somewhere around $10,000 total in prizes and whatnot. So you can go to our Instagram page. You can go to our Facebook page. You can email me, talkingled@gmail.com, and get the link. If you don't have Instagram, you don't have Facebook, I will send you the link to where you can go and take part in this giveaway. It's one of those where you go and you like the Facebook, the Instagram, the website, whatever, and you get more entries. So the more you do it, the more entries you get, better your chances to win. And what's cool about this, guys, is we've got 5 packages, and each package has a firearm in it. So we've got 2 Sky, their red dot guns, their new red dot guns that they're giving away. We've got a Smith & Wesson M&P 9 that we're going to be giving away. We've got a Glock 48 that we're giving away. And the big number 1 prize is a Browning Buck Mark 22, but it comes with a suppressor. How cool is that? Stealth Suppressors has put up a suppressor for that package. And then each of those packages comes with an additional like $1,500 in prize packages, in prizes, from buck knives, Geisley automatics. We've got a whole list of those. And you can go back to our previous episodes and listen to everybody that's taking part in that. It'll take another 20 minutes for me to go through everybody, but just go to our Instagram, our Facebook. The companies that are participating, they're all posting it. They've got links there, and you've got until Christmas Eve to do this. So time's ticking. Not much time left. How many days is that, guys? Like 9?
10.
Yeah.
9 and a wake up.
There you go. So this is your wake-up call.
Yeah.
Time's ticking to enter. So if you haven't done it, do it now. Tell your buddy, tell a friend, maybe make that somebody's Christmas present. I don't know. Enter them to win one of these prize packages. So that's my news. That's my big news. I haven't done a whole lot since the last episode, Leadheads, other than I've been hunting, been out in the field, so I've been isolated, secluded. Haven't kept up much with what's been going on. So hopefully these two guys can get me caught up on the latest and greatest of what's going on. But I do hear that Talking Lead jackwagon train rolling in. So I think it's time to take care of some jackwagons and honor some heroes. So Gunny, bring that train in.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the talking lead jackwagon of the week, so brace yourself, baby.
All right, so the train has stationed, and we do have some jackwagons that we need to take care of. And just to get the ball rolling, I typically let my guests go first, but I'll kick us off here. And let's find my post. This was like an Instagram or Facebook post or something like that I saw. And it has to do with Santa and Christmas. So basically the gist of the story was this kid went up to Santa in the mall. You know how they have dudes dressed up like Santa, and you send your kids up there, and they're typically frightened because this is the most powerful person that they've ever met in their lives. And they're wetting their pants and they're crying and they're scared to death, but the parents are still just forcing them to go up and talk to Santa and tell them what they want for Christmas. Traumatic experience. You can tell about my childhood. But anyway, this one kid goes up to Santa, no problem. I mean, he's not scared or anything like that. And Santa asks him what he wants, and he says, I'd like to have some Nerf gun. I don't know. He rattles the name off of this Nerf gun. And the Santa goes, oh, no guns. No guns. He goes, what else would you like to have? And you hear the parents in the background, they say, it's a Nerf gun. To this Santa. It's like, hey, dude, lighten up. And he's like, oh, no Nerf, no guns whatsoever, Nerf guns. What else would you like to have? And he rattles off this list of stuff, like you can have this, or this, which one do you want? And the Santa's kind of a dick about it. You can hear in his voice, he's kind of getting short with the kid. And, at this time, the kid's looking at his parents and looking back at Santa is like, this ain't the guy you described to me as who Santa is. And then, of course, ultimately, the kid burst into tears. He starts, bawling and whatnot. So this video went viral. Everybody saw it. Everybody's, that's pro-gun, pro-2A. And even some people, they were just like, this guy was a dick. Santa's not supposed to do that. He's supposed to encourage, dreams and wishes of children. So apparently NRA stepped in and they showed up at this kid's house with a real Santa and pretty much any Nerf toy you can think of the kid got, and they, of course, used that to their, for their reasons, political reasons, advertising reasons, and they did a big video on it and whatnot. But anyway, that's Santa. And Santas that are like him that, that's not the job of these people at these malls. They're just supposed to sit there and listen and say, yeah, you're going to get that for Christmas, kind of thing, and not impose their personal opinions or political views on these children. It's just ridiculous. Supposedly, this Santa was fired, lost his job. The mall stepped in, and I think the mall sent the kid some guns and stuff. So apparently he's getting truckloads of Nerf guns from everybody around the country now, and they're donating them to needy kids and whatnot. So, some good came out of it in the long run. But, yeah, definitely people like that that use their power, their positions of power, to impose it on the naive, definitely deserve a ride on the jackwagon train.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. The job of the Santa in the mall is to make kids happy and get them excited about Christmas and the things that are coming their way. Adding politics to that is crazy. It's like we've got my jackwagon piece going forward is the school district that I'm from, Ashland School District here in Ashland, Oregon. A great school district, raised in it, loved it, thought it was doing the right thing. Right now, they've got a Black Lives Matter signs up everywhere. Not an issue, but from my perspective, but it's not the job of schools to be political.
No.
They need to educate. So
it's not their
putting
role.
that up, having that on, I mean, that's adding that political side to things that don't need to have a political spin. You're there to educate young men and women and and to help them move forward and to give them options, not to say this is what you must believe, because when you put something up on a billboard or a sign, that's what you're saying. So just
but that falls in with their indoctrination courses.
Oh, and I agree with what Dwight says 100% from the indoctrination side of the house. But, you know,
well, you look at the teachers just like this
kid,
Santa. You know, these teachers are imposing their political views, you know, their personal opinions onto our children. And I say our children. I don't have children, but other people's children.
Yes,
I have nephews and nieces.
And I've got a millennial who lives in Portland, so it's an interesting conversation when we have the time and energy to talk to each other. Her perspective on life versus my perspective on life. You know, one of the things that you struggle with, I think, as a parent is you want to teach your kids to think on their own, to be this great person, and to do that. But when they make their own decisions and do things that you don't exactly agree with, that's part of that process. So sometimes you got to back up and go, well, I taught her to do that. I taught her to think on her own. I taught her to make her own decisions and do that. And you're not always going to agree with them. So it's interesting from that perspective, her take on what happens in Portland, Oregon, and our take from down here in the South of what's going on in Portland, Oregon. So.
Yeah. But you have to just be kicking yourself in the butt. It's like, where did I go wrong?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. But then, like I said, you got to go back to that idea. Hey, we've taught her to be this way. You know, her handle still is Army Brat 1. So I mean, she's got she's got all these experiences in life and have been all over the place. And so to say that
free will, baby.
Yeah, she's got it. And as a parent, that makes you extremely proud.
Well, I was going to say, as long as they're still open to debate, and you know, once they get to the point where they're, that's wrong, this is the only way, then it's like, okay, you're no longer liberal, you're a leftist, and you know, that's, you know, well, that's where all, in my opinion, that's where all the indoctrination has taken this country, is to make it socialist. And that just, to me, it's like, seriously, man, no socialist countries have ever survived.
Yeah.
You know, and we're the longest lasting republic right now, which, and, you know, as they said, you know, a nation divided will cave in on itself. And
we're pretty divided right now.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Well, and it's like I tell my daughter, she's 26 years old. She's not married. She pays her bills. She does everything, you know, that she needs to do, and she's doing great in life. And so where she was at 26 and where I was at 26 are two totally different spaces. And so she can have those thoughts. She doesn't have, you know, if she had a child or something, there may be a different reaction from me through her political views right now. But she can do that. I can accept that. And like Dwight said, as long as she's open and listens, which she does most of the time, then we're okay.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
So what about you guys? You got any jack wagons?
Yeah, I've...
Attaboy, I knew Dwight would have one.
Well, the thing is, I got to choose, you know, because there's so freaking many, you know, right now. I mean, I could go with... Governor Sparkle Pony out here in California. And I didn't coin that phrase. I saw some lady did this online, and I was like, man, I like that. So that's what I've been going with him. You know, but
Sparkle Pony.
You know,
I like it.
Gavin Newsom's a true idiot, just like his aunt, Nancy Pelosi. And
oh my God, I didn't know they were related. So they are related.
Oh. Yeah.
And our governor in Oregon is related too. Yeah. So they're all.
I mean, there you go. Somewhere. Yeah. So the nepotism's running deep.
Yeah. You know, so there's just so many. You know, to me right now, it's the majority of the Democratic Party is a jackwagon, because they've brought this farce upon our country right now, which was this fraudulent election. And, you know, it's we'll see what happens. But, and my opinion is if Biden is the one that is put in there and we lose those 2 seats in Georgia to the Democrats, then you will see a completely divided country because, hey, they're going to come for my guns.
When do they not? When do they not?
No, it wouldn't be a cold dead hand. It'd be a dead warm hand unless they just let me lay around for a while. But yeah.
Well, they got to kill you first. And you'll have a big backing behind you. So I don't really see it coming to that. I really don't. Historically, they've always come for our guns. The Obama administration, when they first started up, they had complete control of everything. And, they just completely, dropped the ball or, we stymied them. I don't know what it was, but they didn't get anything done, thank God.
Well, yeah. Well, thankfully, but we didn't have the leftists that came in with the freshman class of 2 years ago with AOC and Rashid and Ilhan Omar and Presley, those 4. And
they're just hot bags. They're just hot bags of air is all they are.
Yeah, but they're the ones that they are hot bags, but there's a lot of people that are listening to them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And there's too many, kids, the millennials and all in school, because they keep talking about college it's a right. And no, education is, you'll get educated, but that doesn't mean going to college is a right,
Yeah.
That's a privilege. And
get educated, just life education. Yeah. But yeah, so I agree with you.
I got a lot of jack wagons.
Yeah, I mean it runs deep. It runs deep, and we've obviously covered those jack wagons in California and New York and Chicago and the deserving areas there, especially the hypocritical ones that like to impose the Gestapo rules, but they don't like to follow them themselves personally.
Yep.
So, it kind of falls into, you're talking about they're coming to take our guns. My next jack wagon, the ATF has been in the news lately attacking the company Polymer 80. And they're in California also, I do believe.
Yep.
It's a California-based company. I haven't really heard much, as far as specifics goes, but they've been accused of their kits that they sell. The ATF has designated them as not 80%ers, which an 80% is another made-up term. It's just it's a kit. It's to go and make a gun, which is completely legal in the United States. You can do that. You can make your own firearms for your own personal use. You can't turn around and sell those. Then you need to serialize them, but you can still do that. But it's completely legal, not against the law to do that. And the ATF has designated Polymer 80s, the kits, their specific kits, as being firearms. So they're attacking them for taxes, again, selling firearms, a whole big trumped up list of things that they have charged them with, or at least use that as their means to go in and check their books. Now, I've also since heard that they're going after the customers. They asked for the customer list and all the people that had bought them, and I guess they're following up with the customers as well. I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's a lawsuit that's been brought against them for the ghost guns being used in a shooting in California that they're helping to push forward.
So that kind of started all this, was that the murder that happened with the 80% guns that somebody used? Is that?
Yes.
And again, ghost gun is another term that the liberals have made up to spark fear and terror in individuals who don't know, into ignorant individuals.
Another idiot in California,
right,
in the legislature, came up with that term.
Yeah. It's been several years ago. Yeah, I remember that. I can't remember the dude's name, but yeah. Specifically, remember him standing up there in front of his whiteboard and trying to describe a multi-clip magazine.
Yeah,
this is ridiculous. But that story again, and you can go to Polymer 80's social media, and they've made a statement there, and basically they're just saying, hey, we're complying to the letter of the law for things that they're, I guess, requesting. They're trying to be cooperative, but if things they deem unlawful, they're not cooperating. They've got attorneys involved, and it's a big mess. It's a huge mess. And this on the heels, I just received a 80% handgun kit from 80% Arms, another company similar to Polymer 80. And again, I don't see anything in there that would designate to make it a firearm. Because I have to go in, I still have to mill out and do the work that's required to make it my own. So
right. I mean, the thing is on the 80%ers and like with Polymer, I mean, all these companies are following the line of the law that as it was written. And then what happens, you get these jackwagon lawmakers that now put another law on the books, in the state, which is what had happened in California with Polymer 80. But it's like, no, we're following the federal law, so more laws, instead of fixing the original law, they put other laws on the books. And that's why, in every state and federal, there are so many laws that now start contradicting each other. But then kind of another thing.
Then you've got the ATF that, they're this entity that just seems to have no oversight or regulation, and they can just do whatever the hell they want to do. And one day they can decide that it's this, and the next day they can decide that it's this. The perfect example is, they just went after Q for their honey badger and the brace. The same thing they're doing with Polymer 80. They went after Q, raided them, said that they were making firearms and they had to pay all these taxes and they had to do all this. And of course, you don't hear anything else about that. I think they backed off of that and have since dropped that. So now they found a new target and they're going after the Polymer 80 here. But the ATF knows good and well that what Polymer 80 is doing is within the laws. They just decided, right. Some jackwagon there just decided that because I'm getting heat because of this murder that took place, somebody used one of these. I guess we better make a knee-jerk reaction and make it look like we're doing something. Kind of bullshit.
Yeah, don't go after the guy that used the gun because I'm sure that 80%er gun put itself together and jumped up in that dude's hand and fired the trigger itself.
Oh yeah.
Well,
it's a ghost gun.
My car drives around by itself all the time.
It's a ghost gun. It can do that. It's a ghost gun. So another thing to keep your eyes on, Leadheads, the Polymer 80 story, and we'll bring you more to that as it develops. I've actually reached out to the guys at 80% Arms and see if they would be willing to come on and just kind of give their insight on that and talk about their product too. I doubt I'll be able to get in touch with the Polymer 80 people. I think they're probably way too busy dealing with their own shit. But if anybody knows anybody at Polymer 80, they want to come on the show, I would love to have them on. They are welcome. talkinglead@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. So that's really the main two topics that I wanted to get out there as far as our jackwagons go. Now, do you guys have any other ones you want to that our leadheads need to be aware of? Some other stuff that's going on out there?
No, not that's new.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've covered, other than Ted Wheeler's issue, the mayor of Portland and his red house. So I don't know if you're familiar with what's going on in Portland again. So there's this red house, and it's somewhere in the Portland area, and they've made it an autonomous zone. The protesters have, And so Ted Wheeler, who had let all this stuff happen in Portland, all these days of protests, has now decided to slap his children and say they can no longer have this red house and make it an autonomous zone. So he started to move in his police and started to do some things.
So was this like in Seattle where they took over that city block?
And so what they've said is the people that live in this house were illegally kicked out of this house. Well, the truth is the house got foreclosed on because they didn't make the payments and they didn't do the things they were supposed to do. So it got occupied by the protesters, and they've made it an autonomous zone. And now Ted Wheeler, the new elected mayor of Portland, which is another story. Why would you reelect somebody who allowed your city, middle of your city, to be destroyed for 100 some days? But the people in Portland did. So now he's trying to slap his children, who did whatever they wanted to for 100 some days, and say now you can't have an autonomous zone, and we're going to take it back. And so,
but what if we painted it blue?
Well, I don't know. Maybe if we painted it blue, it would be a whole different story.
Yeah.
But it's just
Kurt,
that hypocrisy piece that just really drives me crazy.
Absolutely.
It's like it's the mask hypocrisy of them being able to be downtown, and me, I can't walk into a grocery store without the mask issue becoming a piece. It's the hypocrisy that just kills me. And you were talking about, we were just down in California, and the San Jose mayor puts out all this stuff, and then he's got to come back and admit, I didn't do any of the stuff I told you to do at Thanksgiving. I went and did my own damn thing. It's like the mayor of Austin who sends a message from Mexico to the people of Austin, Texas, stay home, But I'm in Mexico. I mean, I really don't give a crap one way or another if they do it, and if they come out and say, be free. One of the things I had the opportunity to do this summer was go to South Dakota. It was a breath of fresh air to be in South Dakota, and they love their governor there. And she says, do the right thing. Be personally responsible and do the right thing.
Use common sense.
And yes. And I wish we would use that to an extent here on the West Coast, but we just seem to fail at that right and left.
Well, common sense has been lost in millennialhood somewhere. But Kurt, I just need to correct you.
Okay.
That in Portland they haven't been protesters; they've been rioters. Okay.
Rioters. Okay, I agree with that statement. Yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah. That's a good.
I've been
indoctrinated. I've been indoctrinated. I apologize.
Well, I mean, you hear something over and over and over and over and over again, even if you don't believe in it. I mean, it's effective.
Yeah,
it is effective.
That's what the media does.
Follow that script that's been written for you. I just fell into it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get off our jackwagon train here. I think we had plenty there. If you have a jackwagon you want to nominate, talkingled@gmail.com. Just put jackwagon or something like that in the subject so I'll know what it is, and we'll read yours on the air. And let me just double check and make sure you guys haven't sent any in that I'm overlooking here. Here's one right here. So let's do a listener submitted one before we send off the jackwagon train here. This is from our good friends over at Guns, Oil, and Dirt, and that's a podcast. And he sent in some more before. Evan over there. So he says he purchased ammo from firearmsammos.com. He made a payment and never heard from them again. Just want everyone to learn from my mistake. Ammo price was too good to be true, and it wasn't. The company is a fraud and gives a bad name to the firearms industry. Love the show. Keep on keeping on. Evan from Guns, Oil, and Dirt Podcast. So, Evan, damn, dude, I'm sorry. I've never heard of that company. I mean, if you've never bought from them before, probably, you want to do your due diligence. Just like from any company. I mean, you're buying shoes, you're buying whatever. If you've never bought from them before, do a little research. But, yeah, that is sad. Hopefully, maybe they're just short and they'll end up sending it to you. But, man, I hate to hear that.
Yeah, they're probably related to the N95 mask company, and that Newsom sent $1 billion to and hadn't gotten a mask yet.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably split it with them.
Yeah.
Probably.
Split that money with them. All right, so that does it for the jackwagon train. Get it out of here, Gunny, and let's honor some heroes.
Air Force One is with you, 12 miles on the ILS, X-ray 16 right final.
Air Force One, contact Reno Tower, 118.7. Have a good day.
Air Force One, pushing tower, good day.
So Lead Force One is taxiing in, and we're going to start with Ron. All right, you already know where I'm going with this now. We're going to start with Dwight. And Dwight, you've got a couple of heroes that we need to honor.
Yeah, well, one, he's the guy that turned me on to you, Ron Bellin, Reaper 01. It's still not a day goes by.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Yeah, it is. But, his daughter, Stephanie, has started the Reaper Legacy Foundation. And what she wants to do is to, her dad took her hunting and fishing and, along with, a bunch of his teammates, and that shaped a lot of her life, being able to, from an early age, hunt and fish and learn the right ways and all. And so that's pretty much what the Reaper Legacy Foundation, she wants to continue that tradition going on. And so that's brand new. That's just something she got going in October. So, and then she hadn't even had to have their first real kickoff party yet because of, this Chinese virus BS.
Yeah. Wuhan.
Yeah. So, Ron, as we all know, he was bigger than life. And so, I just let Steffi know anything that I can do to help her. And
do you have the website for that?
ReaperLegacyFoundation.com.
Okay. Yeah, so you leadheads go to ReaperLegacyFoundation.com. I'm there right now. I'm looking at it, and it's Ron's right there on the front page. Got his eye patch, his signature trademark. But yeah, you can go there, and it talks about their programs, what they're about, how you can donate. They do fundraisers, special events, and things like that. So. I'm glad that you brought that up because I haven't been able to get in touch with any of his family since he passed away. So that's great that they started that foundation.
Yeah, they've she's done that, and if you need to talk to John, let me know. His brother, I can get you in touch with him too.
Yeah, I would love to talk with him again. It's been a long time since I've talked to John. They're one of the first people that we met when we got into doing this podcast. It was at the Dallas NRA back in 2012, 2013, something like that. And they were some of the first people that we ever met. We met Ron and Doug. Doug was there.
Yeah.
And his brother. And it seems like there was another guy. There might have just been the three of them at the time. But the Reaper Outdoors, Reaper 01, Reaper 02, Reaper 03.
Yeah.
And we've been friends ever since.
Yeah. So, Ron, and then one other foundation. It's the C4 Foundation. Charlie Keating, who is another SEAL who was killed May 3rd of 2016. And he was, it was kind of unique. I found out at his, real quick, he was going to the University of Indiana running track. And Chuck was a true waterman. He loved free diving, for going for fish and whatever. And Chuck always had this just big old grin on his face. Just lit up a room when he walked in. And
is he another one of those giants like you and Ron? Was he like 6 foot forever? And
no, and he's was really thin. I mean, he was just wiry, And right when he had passed a shirt company out here in Coronado called URT, they did this shirt for him where on one of Chuck's first platoons, he had the 60 gun. Well, I still call it the 60, the 249 Bravo, right? And
is that why they called him Chuck Heavy?
Yeah, and he was carrying that and had the bandoliers across his chest, and then it was funny. Some people said, well, he liked Budweiser, so he did that. And it's funny. I mean, I was talking with his dad, C3, and we're like, well, I always saw him drinking Coors Light, but at times he drank that. But so they have the C4 Foundation going, and what that does is they have got a ranch now out here just east of San Diego in the mountains, and it's set up as a retreat for the SEAL families when guys come back, little time decompress with the families. Nice. Away from everything.
That's smart.
They've got some different animals out there, and some fishing. They got a small lake pond.
Very nice.
And it's set up to get the families out there to spend some time with one another, reconnect. And Chuck had gotten married right before he went on his last deployment, which was just a quick little wedding, just that they had kind of kept secret. And but so Chuck was just how Ron would light up a room.
Oh, yeah.
But Ron commanded attention, whereas Chuck would just walk in and you noticed him. He just had a smile that lit up the room. And I remember one time he was over at the house and he walks in, he says hi, and my wife Jen was doing some laundry. He goes, Miss Settle, can I help you fold the laundry? She goes, do you want to fold old lady's panties? And he was, no, not really. He goes, all right, well, I didn't think you did, so thanks for offering anyway, But that's what he would do, just little things like that, And so, those are just remain two heroes of mine, and with their now foundations to keep their memories going. And they're both really good causes.
Absolutely.
Because then they're both related to, families, which is, very important. Because as Kirk can attest to, when we deploy, when the guys deploy and the wife's at home, or now even husbands, the family unit back has to continue on. And, nowadays the guys can, it's not like when I deployed back in, with Columbus, the wooden sailing ships and all that, we had to rely on letters, or, you'd pull into port and stand in line for 45 minutes to do a phone call that costs you, you'd call collect from the Philippines or someplace, and
didn't have those sat phones in.
No. Yeah. Didn't have Facebook and Skype and
right. The luxuries that we have today.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Smoke signals.
Definitely great foundations that you lead heads need to get behind. ReaperLegacyFoundation.com. That's the one for Ron Bellin. And then C4, that's the letter C, the number 4, foundation.org. And that's the one for Charlie Humphrey Keating the Fourth, which is where you get C4. That's where they come up with the C4. That's cool.
Yeah.
Not just explosive, but very cool. Those are definitely well worthy of Lead Force One. So those guys are definitely going to get a ride. Did you have anyone else?
No, well, just another we continue on is with Sal. I hit for Ron, and he had introduced me to him, and I like what they do with the guys. And there's so many that we kind of play with that, even SEAL Legacy and Special Operation Warrior Foundation for all kids that a parent had died, who's in Spec Ops. Their education's going to be taken care of. So it doesn't matter if it was in battle or training. Their children's secondary education and all is covered by that foundation. So
very good. And we've done some things with the SEAL Legacy Foundation in the past. Commander Mark McGinnis.
Yep.
All great organizations. I just ask that you lead heads, if you can't do them all, pick one and, get behind them. Definitely. No doubt.
Yep.
What about you, Kurt? You've got some heroes, I do believe.
I do. Yeah. I do have some heroes in some of the nonprofits that at TAZ Fabrication we support. One of the things that I've heard thrown around a lot lately is it only takes a generation to forget. So one of the groups that we got behind in the story actually goes back to probably a senior captain, junior major. I don't remember what I was at the time. And the chaplain assistant put his arms around me and said, I think you maybe need a little help in life with some of your temper things and some of the things going on, what you were doing, which turned into a lifetime friendship with a retired master sergeant now named Bill Kamer. Bill retired as the head of all chaplains for the Army National Guard out of Washington, D.C. And when he retired, he ended up running a foundation called Chapel of the Four Chaplains. And I don't know if the people out there know the Four Chaplain story, but in World War II, there's four chaplains that board a boat, the Dorchester, on their way to Greenland. And a short story, the boat gets torpedoed up near Greenland on its way to Iceland. And the four chaplains in the process give away all of their equipment as all the soldiers are going overboard, handing out their gloves, giving the soldiers their life vests, all those pieces. And the story goes that as the boat is going down and the soldiers that actually live look back, the four chaplains are holding hands and singing hymns as the boat goes down. It's a pretty famous story, at least from an Army standpoint, and most of the military people you talk to have heard the story. But because of that story, they created what's called the Chapel of the Four Chaplains Foundation. And that foundation now resides in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the old Navy shipyard. So they've occupied one of the old Navy chapels. And if you're familiar with military chapels, they're all the same. Look the same. They got a big spear, a chapel on the top and then long. And Bill Kamer is now running that foundation. And he came to us as TAZ Fabrication and said, hey, can you help me, A, raise some money, and B, with the metal stuff that you guys make, let's work on a memorial and some survivor plaques and moving forward that way. So we've been working with the chapel, and we've created 2 signs that go with donations to that we send to the chapel and the chapel sends out. And we are now working with them specifically on a survivor plaque. So I think it depends on what you read. There was 900 or some soldiers on that ship and 250 some survived. So we're working on creating a plaque, big plaque, obviously, that'll go up, a memorial that'll go up in the chapel that shows all those survivors. So when the relations of the people that survived come through, they have place to see their loved ones as it's posted up there.
What's the website for this organization?
The website for that is forchaplains.org.
Yeah, FOUR?
That should take you right to, yep, forchaplains.org.
Okay, yeah.
And that'll take you to the foundation itself. So that's one of the things we do. So that's one of mine. My others is locally here. We have partnered with a group called David's Chair. And what David's Chair does is takes not only veterans, but anybody who is in a wheelchair, and they have gone out and purchased track chairs that enable those veterans to stand up, shoot, do bow and arrow, go out on the beach, do things with their families. So that appeals to us from the TAZ Fabrication standpoint. And there's two great people that run that organization. Casey Moore, and Casey's a quadriplegic, and he is in a wheelchair all the time, but always has a smile on his face, is always working hard, and always cares a hell of a lot more about other people than he does about himself, and the ability to make that happen. And then the CEO of the nonprofit's name is Steve First, and Steve is a local police officer here and just does a phenomenal job from a fundraising perspective to get people involved. And I'm going to add something here. We went to the fundraiser that they had this year. They always have a raffle and a dinner and, drinks, and it's always a blast. But as I looked around and as people are, at least in our neck of the woods, banging on police officers and how terrible they are, as I looked around, 99% of the people that were at that fundraiser to care about other people were either police officers, locally, county sheriff, state police, retired military people that I know that were taking their hard-earned money and donating it towards a great cause. So I take some real issue with, the police being bad or even them not being some of the greatest people that I've ever been in contact with. But I go back to the fact that David Chair has approached us to make an overland trailer. So one of the things we do at TAZ Fabrication is we take things and make them bigger and badder, I like to say. So one of the ideas that we had is they have these little trailers and they can get them to trailheads and allow these people to go out in the trailheads. And so, but what we came up with an idea is we're going to build this trailer and you're going to be able to drive the wheelchairs up into it and then take it maybe into the backcountry a little farther. Okay. And have some beds and the ability to sleep. It's not going to be a big trailer, but it'll have a pull-out kitchen and all those things. So that's the next project we're working with David's Chair on, is to create this overland trailer. So, like I said, it's nice to get to a trailhead, but there's always a million people at a trailhead. Sure. How about you get back into the woods somewhere where it's just you and your family and you can camp like the rest of us do. So we're excited to be part of that organization also moving forward. And then these guys do a great job of producing themselves, but I'm actively involved with the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and we work with the Veterans of Foreign Wars doing metal artwork that Zach Coble, who's our design guy, comes up with, and he does just some incredible stuff. And we donate those signs to the VFW so that they can then do raffles and make money to support veterans. So we've done for 2 years, we've done the signs that they've raffled at Sturgis. This year we're working with them on the Daytona Bike Week rally. So we're doing some signs for that too. So that's something else that we're proud of. And everybody in that organization across the board. That's awesome. Everybody in that organization across the board is great to work with. They're all ex-veterans and they really, really care. And,
now, are you a Harley guy?
Give their heart and soul. I am not a Harley guy.
Not yet, right?
Not yet. I don't have hair like Dwight's. So my issue is that it just doesn't, when I'm on a bike, I just don't get that flow thing that happens sometimes. So, yeah. Plus, I can't get my wife to get on the back of the bike with me, and half of the fun would be,
get her own bike.
I know. Well, I could do that too. I could get her own bike. I don't know if she'd decide about that either.
Or you could fabricate a sidecar.
We could fabricate. You know what? We were just talking about that at the shop yesterday. Right. I just fabricate a sidecar for it. Boom. We can go cruise it. We can go cruising all over to different bike weeks. That'd be awesome. I love that idea.
Yeah, you can make it a full roll cage.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Exactly. I think the fact that that I used to blow stuff up for a living. Yeah, she's not all about riding on a motorcycle with me.
She doesn't trust you that much. Huh?
No.
What about you, Dwight? Are you a Harley guy?
No, I'm not. Had ridden a while in the back and some years back, but the house I live in right now, we don't have a garage, and we're 5 blocks from the ocean, and I just wouldn't want to have one that sits outside all the time, and especially just kind of with my traveling and everything, it would sit there neglected because no one else would, wipe it down. And so I just was like, no, until I get a garage. And for some reason, my wife doesn't let me put in a garage.
For some reason, she just won't let you. Probably because she doesn't want you having a bike,
Well, yeah.
Well,
she didn't like me, Yeah, she didn't like all the skydiving and all the other stuff I did, because when I retired out of the military, I'd kept skydiving for a while. So she was like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
So
well, let's do that now. Let's wrap up our Leadhead Brigade here. Did you do all the ones you wanted to do, Kirk?
Yeah. I touched on the main 3 that we support and that
okay. I think it's be a good segue into our next segment here. So let's find out more about these guys, and let's get the planes and the trains out of here. And we're going to start the new guy. And sometimes a girl. Questions. So we'll keep with Dwight here. So Dwight and Kurt, we both know that you've got military background. So Dwight, talk about your military background. What got you interested in the military to begin with?
Leaving home.
Just getting the hell out, huh?
Yes, yeah, pretty much. When I was, I for some reason was always fascinated with ships and stuff, and at 17, my mom had sent some stuff off to the Navy recruiter, so all this stuff's coming in. And at 18, actually, me and another guy went down there and talked to him, and actually did the test and did everything. We were just about to sign up, and we went out into the car, and remember, this was in 1977.
Oh, give us some perspective. Yeah, okay. I didn't want to tell your age. But.
Yeah, this was 1977. And
I was 8.
I was only 6.
I was gonna say I was 6.
No. I was 18, and we went out and don't take it bad, but at the time, hey, we smoked a joint. I did inhale, and we said, you know what? I don't think I want to join the military, So we left. Well, a year later, I called them up and said, I was accepted to, I was able to get into Texas A&M. I was going to be able to try to walk on to the football program, which is what I wanted to do. I love playing football, and I was a defensive back, and but all of a sudden some stuff had happened, and I was like, you know what, 90 miles, College Station was only 90 miles away from my house in Houston, and that's not far enough away from home. I need to get a little further away. And so I called the recruiter and told him I wanted to join the Navy. I asked him what the programs were, and he was like, you can come in for 4 years and then have 2 years inactive, or you could come in for 3 years and have 3 years active reserve, and I was like, no, I want to do my 4 years and then I want to be done with you guys. I don't, don't want anything else. So I'll come in for 4 and, do that. Well, my recruiter did take care of me. It wasn't the horror stories that you hear from a lot.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot of good stories, yeah.
No, but my recruiter, who was soon to retire, he took care of me, and because a nuke guy came after me and tried to get me to go there, but my recruiter knew I only wanted to do 4 years, so he let the guy talk as much as he wanted to.
Right.
And once I found out it was a 6-year commitment, I was like, no, sorry, dude, not doing that. Well, fortunately, I didn't know anything about the teams. I mean, I'd seen the movie, Frogman, and you'd seen
wasn't a lot about them back then either, like there is today.
No, but you'd seen the Frogman jump in to recover the capsules, from the moonshots and the whole Gemini, Mercury, and Apollo programs.
Thank you for saying Gemini too, not Jiminy.
Yeah. So I joined the Navy, and fortunately I was in an open rating, and on 2-1 day in the military, when they were the second week, first day, they were introducing us to physical education. They showed us this recruiting film because they only recruited for the teams from within the military, and it was a movie showing guys, they call it someone special. I like to call it someone stupid to do this stuff, but it showed a guy scuba diving, skydiving, blowing shit up, and just shooting. And I was like, I want to do that. And I took the screening test that day. 18 of us took it. 3 of us passed it. The other 2 guys, it was their third attempt before they were leaving boot camp, and the 3 of us all ended up being in the same BUDS class, about 7 months down the road, and we were all OSs too, which was operations specialists at the time, and went to Great Lakes. But so I basically a year and 10 days after joining the Navy, I graduated from BUDS, and
now
so
back then were they the SEALs at this point, or were they still the UDT?
Well, we had UDT. UDT 12 was my first team that I went to. In 1983 was when they did away with UDT, because UDT started, World War II,
right.
And just a brief history. It started with the NCDUs, Naval Combat Demolition Units. They had scouts and raiders, and these were guys, a lot from different services, to kind of come in. And then as World War II was going along, and they were saying, okay, we're going to do amphibious landings, because Guadalcanal and Tarawa guys were the Mike boats were coming up, hitting the reef, and then the Marines and all would run off, and they're ashore, but they'd take 5 steps, and now, it was a sandbar or something, and, the guys were just drowning.
Right.
So they were like, okay, we need guys to come in and clear the way, make sure the boats get all the way to the shore. And then in January 1st, 1962, John F. Kennedy commissioned SEAL Teams 1 and 2, and 1's on the West Coast, 2's on the East Coast. 2 was actually commissioned 3 hours before.
So they get to claim first, huh?
Yes. But, SEAL Team 1, because of Vietnam, that was their territory, right?
Right.
But both teams, deployed to Vietnam and all. So in 83, they decided to do away with UDT and SEAL teams and just make them all SEAL teams, just because, we still practice the amphibious stuff, and they're, kind of bringing it back again after this 20-year war, inland. So, 83, they did away with UDT, and, back then, you would talk to the SEALs would, or actually you'd get this from a lot of the women too. They're, oh, you're just UDT. Because my wife told me that, first time I'd met her, she was, oh, you're just UDT. And I said, yeah, but I have a 7-inch tongue and I can breathe through my ears. I'm amphibian. And we've been married 38 years. And
there you
she
go.
still puts up with my,
soul.
I don't know how she does, but, she's a saint for putting up with my crap. So
congratulations on that, by the way. That's unheard of
thanks.
these days.
Yeah, it was a 17-year marriage while in the teams.
Strong
I
woman
retired
right there.
Well, as she said, I was gone a lot, and what makes a successful marriage is a deaf husband, blind wife. And
Just say an absentee husband, mate.
yeah, did that. Retired in January of '99. Nothing had did just over 20 years, and we were on that, the tip of the proverbial spear all the time. That's what you did. You always practiced for war, and then you deployed to be there. And I was unfortunate never to be in combat. So that's one of those things boy, I mean, you wanted it back then, and I've talked to some of my buddies that had kind of come in a few years after me, and then they had stayed in for 30 or all, and a couple of them were, remember those chiefs we talked to, the Vietnam guys, saying, hey, it's got its ups and downs, mainly downs, but he just said, count your lucky stars, you weren't involved. So, that's.
I mean, it is what it is. You can't control that. I mean, if it came to it, you would have been ready and done what you needed to do.
Yeah.
So what did you do? Talk about some of the things that you did, because I'm sure you had missions and things like that, even though it wasn't wartime, that you can talk about.
Yeah. Well, it was like one of the ones that it was funny. This was in 1981. We were doing some stuff. Actually, well, in 1980, we were over near Thailand. We went and did a beach survey and stuff, and we were like, I don't think we're in Thailand, and it was a nighttime one. And they pulled the same thing on us again in 81. And we had been working with the Thai SEALs for a week. And now all of a sudden they're like, okay, hey, you guys are going to go in and do this beach survey. And the Thai SEALs, they're busy. They won't be with you tonight. We're treating this as combat conditions. And just don't go up on the beach at all this time. Like normally we would go do you do a sneak and peek and check it out. But they were like, no, stay off the beach. Don't go on there. And sure enough, I mean, it was like some people shot. I don't know if they saw us, and they said, normally they will, but don't worry about it. They're just shooting blanks. But, when that piece of lead goes flying over your head, that's not a
blank.
Hey, blanks don't go whizzing by, So we were just like, hey, what was this for? And I mean, we personally think it was in Cambodia, but they.
So they didn't even tell you. They're just like, yeah, you're going to be in Thailand, but let's drop them in Cambodia.
Yeah.
What do you think the psychological, what they were thinking that did for you guys, telling you that you're someplace that you're not, and the danger's not there? Is that just?
Well, they were telling us, treat this as it's a real condition. I mean, like they normally, would, but I mean, to me, I mean, this is just more that, people ask me now, they're like, well, do you trust our government? And I'm like, fuck no, I don't trust our government.
Yes.
I mean,
they tell me if they're shooting blanks. And
tell me
I'm in Thailand, I'm in Cambodia. Come on.
Yeah. It was like, look, there's a swamp there, and there's so we'll just kind of leave, that with the swamp. But yeah, it's some things, and it's like, okay, why are the
political
seals
swamp?
not
Is that
with
what you're
us?
talking about, or are you talking about the actual
Yeah.
physical? Okay.
Well, the political, but because it's look, high up in the military, when these guys are going to be retiring, they're, hey, I need some other income and stuff, and it was even more so because like when I retired in '99, the pay was still, I mean, the pay's not great, but it's a way much better percentage than it was, when I was at. Yeah. And as I said, I was only joining for 4 years, but was in the teams and had talked to a chief. I'd asked him, was like, hey, chief, when it's time to, get out or re-up, what do you do? And it's the best piece of advice I've gotten that I still pass on is, look, you weigh your pros and cons. And if the last 3 or 4 years, whatever your tour was, if it sucked and you didn't like it, then get the hell out, but if you had a good time and there's nothing waiting for you, that you can just step right into and it's something you want to do
career-wise, yeah.
Right. Then why not stay in? And, I kept, especially that first time because had just gotten married and had a little baby and was like, hey, you know what? It makes sense. Why not? And it beats, I was, me and another buddy were looking at going up and working up in Alaska on the crab boats because it was like, hey, the season's coming up. We knew a guy that could get us on, the boats and, being 23, it was like, hey,
yeah, but
why not?
Doing what you were doing in the military versus going to a crab boat, I mean, that can't be, that was appealing.
No, well, that's why I mean, at the time, it's one of those days when it was like, hey, it's Friday afternoon and you need to clean the shitters and all this. It's like, no, Friday afternoon, we're supposed to be drinking beer and, not be here, so that was one of the con days. Right. But when you look back at it, it was like, hey, no, the pros definitely outweighed the cons. And so, yeah, I stayed in and I joined for 4. I gave them an extra 16 and a half years and 20 years, total. And it was good. I had a great time. Got a lot of great friends, brothers, and I if I got a chance to go do it all over again, I'd do the same thing
in a heartbeat, right?
There might be some incidents, some nights that I wouldn't do something, but
well, I was going to ask. I mean, I know the relationships that you build there are probably the most memorable, the strongest, the longest lasting. But as far as, something that you did, while you were in service, what's the most memorable thing that you maybe accomplished or?
Well, one of the things that when people ask me about my service, and it's sub-ops.
Explain
working, that. Sub-ops is the submarine observation.
So working on a submarine.
Operations.
Okay.
Yeah. So you lock out of a submarine underway, under the water, and you get to the surface, get your boats, or if you're within the SDVs, which is the little wet sub, the swimmer delivery vehicle.
Yeah.
So the longest I spent underwater, because I did a tour at SDV Team 1, was 11 hours and 47 minutes without coming to the surface. And
how long did you have to decompress for that?
Oh, no. We never got below 35 feet, technically.
Right. Technically, yeah.
And actually on this op, I mean profile, we actually did stay at that depth, so it was good. I mean, I've been down to 60 feet on O2 when you're not supposed to be below 25. But when you hear a loud noise over you and you can feel the water vibrating, it's like, fuck that. You're going deep to hug the bottom,
right?
And
you're gonna blend in. Yeah.
But locking out of a submarine, especially when you were during the daytime, and especially like when you're out in the Pacific where the water is just so freaking clear and blue, and you're locking out, you're looking at the sub. The sub's got to travel at 3 knots. Can't go any faster because you get swept off, and they can't go any slower or they lose their bubble and either shoot to the surface or worse, shoot to a depth, and you get drug along. And you're sitting there looking at the screw turn, and it is going so slow. It's like, man, I sometimes I just wanted to go back there and grab it and just kind of do a revolution on it,
Right. Hurry up.
That's one of those things that you think about that, you probably shouldn't do that,
There's a reason.
Yeah. But not a lot of people have locked out or locked back into a moving submarine in the middle of the ocean in the middle of the night.
It's a very elite club.
It was just that was just a really unique thing that I've done. That I've talked to a lot of people, and they're never got a chance to do that. So was on the Navy parachute team, and we flew a try-by-side through the Mississippi.
I wanted to get
Arch.
into your parachute. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you've got extensive parachuting background.
Yeah, we were able to fly a try-by-side through the arch there in St. Louis. That's where the 3 canopies are all in one row. And
now, was this a announced feat that you?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
It's not just one y'all just decided to do on your own.
Yeah, no, this was something. We did that. That was for a 4th of July demonstration, flying over the top of Niagara Falls, doing the same thing on a parachute. It's just not a lot of people have done that. And that was just an awesome.
What's the highest you've jumped from?
The highest I've jumped is 25,000.
God.
And
what's it like?
So when you see all these TV shows where the guys are, all right, we're at 35,000 feet, put your O2 on and jump out. Bullshit. At 25,000 feet, you're doing a 75-minute pre-breathe before you ever get to exit.
Yeah.
And at 35,000, it's going to be same, a little bit longer. But if they're at 35,000, if there's any leak in your seal or whatsoever, you're probably not going to live. 35,000 feet without O2, just
not going to last long. Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah.
But
have you done and I know the answer to this, but so from jumping out of the plane directly into the water.
Yes. Yeah.
Talk about one of those.
Well, we used to do these jumps that we called a rubber duck, where you would launch your Zodiac, which would be inflated, not completely, but the limp ducks we did out of the helos, and we would cast those, and the rubber ducks, you'd put it on a pallet and usually jump out of the 130s or the 141s. Now it'd be the C-17s, and we did it with C-5s. And the boat goes out, you follow the boat out, and then you would hopefully steer toward the boat, and as you could with the rounds, because with the round, there's not really any steering. It's just you can kind of change the direction of where you're going to run with the wind or now turn to face into the wind, but That's about all you're doing with the round canopies compared with the squares.
Yeah.
Now you've got that.
I guess flight.
Yeah, it's a 25-mile-hour forward speed, and now if you're running with a 25-mile-hour wind, you're doing 50 miles an hour relative across the ground.
Yeah.
You jump into the water and have done numerous of those.
What's the highest that you've done one of those from?
Well, typically from when you're doing static line, you really don't want to go much higher than, especially kind of out there in the water. You want to be as close to the boat as possible. So 1,250 feet was kind of.
Yeah. You're not doing a halo jump and submerging, right?
No, we did one in Guam one time that. So typically you would jump, kind of point yourself toward the boat, then you would start taking the fins off your the belly band, and you got to release your reserve, because you got a belly reserve in front of you when you're doing static line. And also this one in Guam, I was like, man, that water is really close. I barely had time to get my fins on. My reserve was still hooked on. And we found out later that the Air Force had screwed up, and
altimeters were missed.
500 feet, because
Jeez.
where we had taken off from was at 500 feet above sea level. So
it's like
now you know why I give Rocky shit, Kurt. No, but Rocky had nothing. He wasn't a loadmaster or anything, But it's hey, shit happens, right? And
well, shit happens, and you either live or die.
Yep.
You live to tell the story. That's awesome. Yep. That's awesome. So, Kurt, let's get to you. Let's talk about your military background.
Well, it's tough to follow Dwight, like it always is. But so my story kind of starts the same, except for I actually made it to college to play football, because that's what I always wanted to do. So
rub it in.
Ended up going to a small state college in Oregon called Southern Oregon State College. We were NAIA football, so really small, but it didn't take me very long to realize that a 6-foot, 220-pound white kid wasn't going very far after playing college football. But anyhow, I was out literally picking rocks in the summer off of the football field for a work-study job. And this guy in a green uniform walked across the field and started talking to me, because the ROTC program was right next to the football field. And he said, "Hey, why don't you take this military science class next semester? You might like it." And I'm picking up rocks going, okay, whatever.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel for that recruiter.
And so I took a military science class, and then next thing you know, I applied for a 2-year ROTC scholarship, and I got it. And then went through the last 2 years of college with the Army paying, which was very nice.
Nice, yeah.
Then I commissioned in 1991. So, and then from there, I initially became an infantry officer, because my instructor told me that there was only one true branch in the whole United States Army, and that's infantry, and that's HUA, and that's what you needed to do. So then from there, went off to Fort Benning, Georgia. We call it Fort Benning School for Boys. Went through my infantry officer basic course. Had a great time. It truly was Fort Benning School for Boys. We had a bunch of second lieutenants running around having a great time. Finished there, and then my first duty assignment, I was a tow platoon leader. Their tow is a tubed-launched, optically sighted, wire-guided missile system. Geez, I can still remember that. With a maximum effective range of 3,750 meters. So the idea was...
I've actually held one of those.
Have you?
Yeah.
The idea was they were mounted on top of a Humvee. You'd shoot at the Soviet tanks as they were moving, hopefully hit, and then put it in reverse and get the hell out. Because their closing speed was incredible.
Hit and run.
So I was an infantry officer for about 5 years, and then the Army and some of my career choices changed, and they sent me to the Field Artillery Advanced Course. That was at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, that's where my daughter was born, and I had just gotten married and actually it was a great time. But being a dumb knuckle-dragging infantry guy, the world of field artillery and math was new to me. Had a few struggles there to get things moving forward, but once I picked up the fact that I was actually doing calculus and I could do calculus because they were teaching it to me the right way, it was good. So from there, I had the opportunity to get involved and spend some time in the training aspect. So I was the assistant professor of military science at University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, North Dakota. So I taught ROTC there. From there, I went to University of Idaho. Was actually the recruiting operations officer at University of Idaho, and I enjoyed that job working with great high school kids who were looking for a way to pay for college and met the requirements to come into the military. So I enjoyed those positions. From there to a couple of operations jobs. And then in 2008, the 41st Brigade Infantry Combat Team out of Oregon decided to, well, they didn't decide. The government decided we were going to Iraq for a year. So I wasn't exactly sure my role was going to be in that. I knew I was going as part of the brigade staff, which not very exciting, sitting behind a desk tracking stuff. Had a warrant officer come up to me and say, hey, the Army's doing this thing called electronic warfare officers, and we have to send somebody, and you want to go? And I'm like, I guess so. It sounds like a job. And so they sent me back to Fort Sill because the Army had taken electronic warfare seriously, and prior to that, the Navy had done all the electronic warfare for the Army.
Now,
so when I
specify electronic warfare.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
So when the bad guys are setting off IEDs, explosive devices, a lot of them are called RIED, radio control explosive devices. So as you're driving down the road, Hudge, got a cell phone and he pushes the button and then it blows up. Okay. Well, what electronic warfare is the defense against that. So you put out
jamming signals and stuff.
Jamming signals, and you're putting out more energy, and you're causing things to happen. So the Army had two systems back then called the Duke and the CVRJ systems that we put in vehicles that were doing jamming. So there's electronics, and we're trying to figure out what signals, because the electronic spectrum's only so big, and so you jam different portions and you open different portions and you do that. So I went to Fort Sill for 6 weeks and learned how to be an electronic warfare officer. I was the first Army electronic warfare officer that our brigade has had. Prior to that, because the Army didn't have any training with it, the Navy embedded their officers into our battalions and brigades because they had the electronic warfare experience, and those guys were all pilots because they flew the Prowler and the Growler for the Navy, and they were their big jamming platforms. So gotcha. The Navy jams at a huge level, and we were just jamming locally. Yeah. Which was my first run-in with Navy SEALs, by the way. So we sit in a Victory Base complex, and there's one of the NCOs walks up to me and says, "Hey, sir, this Navy SEAL guy came by and said, if you don't turn off the jammer at such and such a place, he's just going to blow it up." And I said, well, he's just not going to blow up a multi-million-dollar piece of equipment, so I better go find it. So
bullshit.
I was waiting for Dwight to chime in.
So I worked my way, of course, at 8 a.m. to getting into the SEAL compound, because they have their own entrance, they have their own food service, they have their own everything, where the rest of everybody else is. They just live a separate life. They're within the compound, but they live a separate life because they don't report on any of the reporting chains that I could find anywhere. So I walk in, and of course, at 8 o'clock in the morning, they're all asleep because they've been out all night getting bad guys in Baghdad and bringing them back. So I wake up this crusty E6 who I was told to find. He wasn't very happy to be looking up at an Army major. I could tell that. And I said, "Hey, man, let's just work through this so you're not blowing stuff up." And I said, "Just tell me when you're going to go out in the morning, or at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or whenever you guys are going to go out, and I'll turn that equipment off so you guys can get back and forth." He goes, "Yeah, that last guy said that, and he never came out and did shit. So if you aren't out there this time, I'm blowing that damn thing." And so, needless to say, I was out there at 3 a.m. one morning when they left and came back, and I made some friends. And then then I met Ron, then I met Dwight, then I met Charlie Melton. So that was the start of a good relationship with the Navy SEALs that could have went bad, really bad south.
It's all about just working with each other.
It's all about doing what you say you're going to do, right?
It is. It is. It's about friends and relationships, and you guys were talking about that. When you were asking, what one of the best experiences that you've ever had, from a military perspective, and it all boils back down to people, and the people that you've had the opportunity to lead, and the people that you had the opportunity to work with, and watching them grow, and that's where, on those bad days when things aren't going right, that's where you get the fulfillment from being in the Band of Brothers and hanging out and being part of that. So after 8-9, I had the opportunity to come home and run the ROTC program at my alma mater, which was an incredible experience.
Is that still a service position?
It is.
You're still in service?
It is. They're called the Professors of Military Science. So all of your major universities, all land-grant universities, most of your your universities ofs or state universities mostly all of them have Army ROTC. The Navy program isn't as robust, and neither is the Air Force, although they do have ROTCs at most of the land-grant universities, just simply because of the size of the service. The Army needs X amount of officers, where the Navy and the Navy's and Marine Corps and Air Force need, their branch just aren't that big as the Army side. Right. So and then from there, went back to DC, spent a year and a half back in the DC Pentagon National Guard Bureau area, and then it was just time to retire. I had a conversation with my wife, who, by the way, I've been lucky to be married to the same lady for 26 years, so I'm trying to follow in Dwight's footsteps.
There you go, 2 in a row. I love to hear that.
It's been wonderful. And to echo Dwight, I think the first 23 years of our marriage, I was around for maybe half of it, and it's amazing. And one of the things that I tell people always say, when you come back from deployment, it's the most difficult thing you're ever going to do in your life. And I am here to say the most difficult thing on the military side I've ever done is come home for good, because my wife had run things. Her and my daughter had their world. I came and was part of it for a while and didn't change a lot of it. But when I came home for good, it was like, why are we doing it this way?
You're
and
just
how about we do it
shit up now?
I am, right? And that after the honeymoon period of about a month, that's next 5 months that's tough.
So did you just learn how to let go and let them do?
Tried, yes. A lot of conversations.
Learn how to make them think it was their idea.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of conversations. Some wine over dinner, and just working through those, understanding that you love each other, but things have just changed now, and so it is just it's that transition piece into that civilian side of the world, and your op tempo changes. I mean, my life op tempo changes, and I was home, and you're up at 5 and you're out the door, and you're not home till 7 or 8 at night, and that's just the way things go. Even when you're home, that's the tempo most of the time. It's just the way we work and the things that we do.
And how long have you been retired now?
I've been retired since 14, so 6 years.
6 years?
We're working on 6 years.
How long have you been retired, Dwight?
Almost 20.
Oh, shit.
22
years. Holy shit.
I think that the last time I had wine with Dwight, he was like, I've been out almost as long as I was in, and that was 3-4 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was a great part of my life, and then I had the opportunity to move forward. Like I was telling you before, I taught school for about a year and a half because I wanted to go back and coach football and be involved with kids' lives and move forward. And what I found out about the public education system is that's not what it's all about anymore. It's about the union, and it's about principals and superintendents
and agendas, and
agendas, and it's just not about the kids. And so I had the ability, because of my friends, to just kind of say fuck off, and so I did, and I walked away one day, and then got involved and started TAZ Fabrication, or got involved with Tommy and Zach, and we stood up TAZ Fabrication about 5 years ago. So I've been involved with TAZ for 4.5 years now, and it's been nice. It's been neat being an entrepreneur. That's where I sit today, and then, like I said, I've had the opportunity to be involved with the Antares Alliance, and where I met Ron and Dwight and Casey Betholtz and a group of other people that have been super and helped us move forward as a company.
Yeah, great group.
Great group of people. Yep.
So, 22 and a half years or so you've been retired, Dwight. What did you do when you first retired? What did you do?
I went from high speed, low drag to a high drag, low speed, and sold life insurance.
Sold life insurance?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what made you think that was a good idea? Just something to do?
Well, no, because when I was chief of the Navy parachute team, the Leapfrogs, when I retired, and a few of us we were starting our own parachute team. We called ourselves the Elite Frogs, and
I get it.
So
I get it.
Yeah, we pretty much did the same thing. You know, we went to, but instead of doing air shows, you know, and follow like with the Leapfrogs and the Golden Knights, you follow in the wake of the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds, right?
Yeah.
At air shows. Well, we were doing baseball games, football games, you know, NASCAR. We jumped into an opening for a cruise line, one of their ships, you know, landed on top of the port terminal there in Miami with a Royal Caribbean parachute that, you know, had made. I needed a job where I could take time away. I didn't need a 9 to 5, and I'm not a 9 to 5 guy. Yeah, that just, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not as regulated as Kurt there. You know, I when people tell me what to do, it kind of tends to put me off.
Yeah.
So that's why when I was retiring, I had a good buddy who worked. You know, he worked at Warcom, and he was like, "Okay, I can get you a job, and you can come in here, and got a spot for you." And I was like, "Man, Raj, can't do it." And he goes, "Why not?" I said, "Look, I hated the Navy when I worked for him. You know, I mean, I don't want to continue working for him. You know, I mean, you know, it wasn't the Navy so much as it is just the government. You know, it's like, hey, you got to get a haircut, you got to shave, and it's like, yeah, you know, these starch greens are really going to stop a bullet. You know." And that's why I was a SEAL, you know.
I guess it kind of makes sense though once you retire and you get out of that, you know, after 22 years of people telling you what to do and taking orders. You know, when you get out, you don't want to take orders from anybody anymore. You don't want somebody telling you what to do, like you said.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I did life insurance and stuff for a while, just a couple of years, and I got into real estate and enjoyed that a lot more. But you know, was doing real estate, started the parachute team, and we would go to Kansas City quite a bit, and because I had met a real good friend there who he's still a great family friend, and he's an attorney, and I don't like attorneys either. I don't like lawyers, you know, but you know, Kevin's
don't like
okay.
what they're about.
Yeah. Yeah, and matter of fact, Kevin came and played his bagpipes at all three of our daughters' weddings. You know, let them out of the church.
Bagpipes, okay.
Yeah,
a bagpipe playing attorney.
Yeah, you know, he's Irish. You know, so
there you
go. We would go to help and do things and raise money for different charities, and like the juvenile diabetes research through this other family and all would auction off tandems that we would take and do. And probably in about a 4 or 5 year period, I think, of doing it, we'd helped them raise just over $500,000 doing tandems and jumps and stuff.
Yeah.
So, that was a pretty cool thing, and just a lot of the people you meet. But then in May of 2010, I jumped off a 60-foot cliff into the Colorado River and broke my pelvis and my back.
Ooh.
And so my jumping career ended then, and I haven't jumped again since April of 2010. But
10 years.
So it was when I was recovering that I got the opportunity to meet Scott Lee, who is one of my business partners, and he's the mad scientist behind SEAL 1. He created that formula,
When did you get involved with SEAL 1?
Well, July 5th, 2011 is when our LLC was formed in Missouri, for good reason. That's where my attorney is.
Yeah.
And our factory is in the state of Maine, and that's where Scott lives. And we'll put our corporate addresses in California, because that's where I'm at. So where we receive the funds and and pay the bills.
Sure.
That's the only thing we do in California, as I live here. But
Right.
We're an all
made
U.S.A.
up on the East Coast.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So it's an all USA made product, and made in Maine. And so I've been doing that.
Well, tell everybody what SEAL 1 is. We haven't really on this episode, and we have in episodes past, but talk about what SEAL 1 is, what you guys make, the products that you do there.
All right. Well, yeah, SEAL 1 is it's a bio-based, non-toxic, complete gun care. So it's only one product that you got to do. A lot of people will look at this and go, "Oh, it's a snake oil," or whatever. And so then people ask, "Okay, what makes you different than any other gun cleaning product out there?" And I like to state, look, there's a lot of good products out there, and they're all multi-step though, right? And then a lot of the multi-step products, will either be a really good cleaner and then not so good as lubricating, or one's really good lubricating but not so great at cleaning. Mm-hmm. But ours is a one product that comes in a paste, a liquid, an aerosol, pre-saturated bore patches, and they all do the same thing. It's just different methods of delivery. It doesn't matter which one you use. They all do the same thing. And it's different than what you're used to using. But it is very simple. You put it on and you wipe it off. Because you'll see that, and I like to say that it takes about 3 cleanings. So it's a clean shoot, clean shoot, clean shoot process. It's not you clean it 3 times in a row. I mean, you can if you want to, but you're not even letting it really do its job, right? So I tell people the first time they use it, use a clean gun, because that's when you see how well the product actually works. Because it doesn't, you'll see, and I have not ever, this has never failed yet, because I have had nobody tell me yet that they have not been able to have a gun clean with whatever else that you use, and then use the SEAL 1 and not be able to pull more carbon off the receiver, the barrel. It's just, you're going to, especially in the barrel, you're going to get more out. So using it, the clean shoot, clean shoot, clean shoot method is, it takes those 3 cleanings to remove whatever you've been using before, and now our product has penetrated in. So where it's different is it actually penetrates into whatever the metal is, the plastics, composites, carbon, fiber, wood, leather. It rejuvenates wood and leather.
Oh, okay.
So it's safe on all
Interesting.
bluings, all Cerakotes. We got a lot of Cerakote guys out there that actually use our product after they're done Cerakoting, and because they just say it helps their work look that much better,
Okay.
because it just makes the colors pop. So what I was saying is I've had people take firearms out of a ultrasonic cleaner and then run some Seal 1 through it and still get more carbon out of it.
Wow.
So it's just I have not had anybody come to me yet.
And it's just one product that does the cleaning and the lubrication and the
Yes.
protection all in one. You
Correct.
don't have three different products that you do. It's just one product. Like you said, you got different delivery systems for it, but it's just one
Yeah.
formula that does all that. Seal 1.
Yeah.
That's the name Seal 1, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Seal 1.
I'm
Yeah.
getting it now, right?
Yeah. So so it's I like to say it's the one
Light bulb.
product that'll seal and protect your weapon. Yeah. Cause,
Well, when we
and
first
that's
met was it was at SHOT Show, and I don't know if it was the 2013, 2014, but like you said, Ron introduced us, and I went over to your booth there, and you guys had an aquarium, you had a fish tank set up, and I'm like, what are
Yeah.
these guys selling? And
look like gummy bears.
yeah, because I went without Ron. Ron was just like, "Hey, you need to go and visit Dwight over at Seal 1, their booth. They're just right out here." That was when I was in that private room at SHOT Show. We had that
Yeah.
private room that had the studio set up, and you guys were just right over there. So I just walked over there during a break, and I was looking at it, and I was like, and there was a gun in this fish tank. You had your P226, and it was your own personal service gun, right?
Right. Yeah, I call that my sig fish.
Yeah, your sick fish. And, it's just sitting there in this tank, and I'm like, what the hell are these guys doing here? So that's when I introduced myself, and then you guys started, talking about the product, and you pulled the gun out, and, you were thinking, you're like, yeah, if we weren't here, I could take it out, we could shoot it, and I could put it back in, and, this, that, and the other. And talk about those properties of the product as well.
Well, see, that's one of the beauty about what the product is. Since it penetrates in and it creates that barrier, it's not it's like when you wax a car, right? How the water just beads up and rolls right off. It's doing the exact same principles, except not just coating, it actually gets in. So that's what it's doing with the carbon, the copper, and the lead. Nothing is allowed to adhere, so it all just wipes right off. We had a guy who was repping for POF, Patriot Ordnance Factory,
Mm-hmm.
and he had gotten one of the brand new 415s. He cleaned it 3 times in the process of, did some cleaning and shooting, and then over the next 2 years, he shot 53,000 rounds through it without cleaning it, and the carbon was still just wiping off the bolt and everything.
Oh, wow.
And then that's when it was right at that time when me 3.5 years of talk with Frank DeSoma at
another, God rest his soul, great patriot. Yeah.
Yep. That he went with, and POF uses Seal 1 exclusively in the build of their firearms.
Okay.
So
they're pre-treating them? Is that, or they just include it with theirs?
Well, they pre-treat it because when when you're building it, you've got to use lubrication and all on there. And so that's what they're doing. They're using Seal 1 and nothing else on there.
So do you guys recommend that? So you're saying clean, shoot, and then after that you're good to go. You don't need to do the product again, or
no. It's all you'll use. You don't need to use anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And so people ask, okay, well, how often do I have to use it? And it's like, well, every time you shoot, you should clean.
Yeah.
And that's
so anytime you clean your gun, you want to use the Seal 1.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And you'll see that it just it does. It gets easier and easier to where, I mean, now like that's my same SIG. If I go out and shoot 200 or 2,000 rounds, my cleanup time's 15 minutes. I mean, it's just that's it just you're wiping some on and wiping it off.
Yeah.
Now,
do you recommend you put this on the grip also, or just the
everything?
Okay, everything. So it's not going to make
everything.
It's not going to make it slippery or anything like that.
No, because you put it on and you wipe it off. Okay. You don't leave any behind. I mean, we will remove rust. We help prevent rust from, nothing stops it, but we help, slow rusting. Yeah. It's like, I had a guy was telling me, he goes, on my AK-47, he goes, I use some really crappy ammo. And he goes, and this was a guy in Houston.
Is there another kind for an AK?
Yeah.
I've got one. I got one I'm working on right now. Is the trigger is jacked in it. It's like how when you shoot, you hold the trigger back, and then it resets, and then when I go to reset the trigger, it releases the hammer. So I'm getting like a double, like that. Yeah. Like that. What's that company? Yeah. I can't remember. There's a company that makes a trigger that'll do that. It's like it fires on.
When you release it.
Release, yeah. So I mean, I got that free. I didn't have to. But no, I got to fix that. But yeah, I mean, what ammo is not dirty through an AK? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but he would tell me, he goes, I would go shoot, and then it'd usually be about 3 hours before I'd get back and start cleaning it. Well, it's already starting to rust and corrode from
the ammo.
Yeah. And he goes, when he'd started using Seal 1, that didn't happen. And he said he got to a point where he goes, well, I'm going to see how long I can go, and he said he was still waiting. And after 3 weeks, it still hadn't started corroding. And yet, so
that's a big testament right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we got a lot of those from guys, but one of the things I get is, when people don't wipe it off because we're so used to wiping, leaving the lubricant on, right? Mm-hmm. And but trust me, you don't need to, and you'll see that it's going to work. And I mean, I had another guy, Grady Burrs, who was saying, he goes, I went hunting at 68 below in Alaska and had no problems, and I was using your paste, and he goes, I had no problems.
That was going to be my next question, is the temperature recommendations on it.
Well, our operating temperatures, we say, are from minus 50 to 650,
Okay. So more than what you're ever going to be survived in, If you get in that temperature, you're going to be dead anyway. So.
Yeah, so he was, as he said, he goes, hey, we were out there, and he goes, it was 68 below. And he goes, I came back in, and I was in my cabin, which was still 40 below. But he goes, I had the tub next to my wood stove, and it still made it pliable where I could clean and work with it. So he goes, didn't have any problems.
Now your products are for more than just firearms too. You can use these on other.
Well, yeah. So we've got a line where we have a product called Marine One, mm-hmm. And look, it's all the same product. Okay, we've got an archery line, BowPro. Again, it's all the same stuff that will.
It's different applicators though, so it makes. For the bow, for the Marine, it's applicators that make sense for the environments that you're going to be in.
Yeah, But it was like, tell guys, I mean, this is great on your knives. We have some knife makers, custom knife makers that actually buy the product because they will give it out when you buy a knife from them. And so it's like, hey, when you go hunting, right? And you're going to clean the the deer or whatever. Now, if you have our product on the knife, you don't have to worry about a contaminant or an oil getting in the meat or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, last month I was in Hawaii and went on a wild boar hunt with knives.
I saw that. I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
And so we used the dogs to get the pigs, and then they bring the pig, and you come up and grab them by the hind leg and stick them in the heart, and then we just cleaned them right there. Took the meat, and it was a lot of fun. But
and your knife just cleans right up because you've got the Seal 1 on there, and it just wipes right off.
Yeah, none of the pig fat or hair or any of that. I just used the water right there and just dumped it on there and it just washed it right off.
Nice.
But there's so many different uses with this product. I like to tell people, think of this as a green WD-40 that actually lubricates. It. Do
you have an aerosol version of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The paste is our base product. That's the one that we make first. Okay. And then we put a carrier, and everything that goes into the paste is food grade, but we're not a food grade facility.
Sure.
So we're not selling it as such. But it is completely safe. So when we say non-toxic, we mean non-toxic. Not some of these products that you see that are non-toxic, that if you read their SDS sheets, you can't breathe it, you don't get it on your skin and all that. You don't have to worry about that with ours.
Yeah, I remember you put it on, I was like really dry, in Vegas, and you're like, here, put this on your lips, man. It's perfectly safe. I was like, okay. So, I put it on there, and sure enough, I mean, within, 30, 40 minutes, my lips were already moist again, Not that I'm plugging it as a lip balm, but
no, but as an emergency, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I've had guys tell me that, and I have ostrich cowboy boots, and I polish my boots with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different uses, but it's just, I'll put it against any other gun cleaner out there that,
So I'm putting it on my leather. You're talking about you can use it on leather. It's not going to discolor my leather or anything like that. It's just.
Well, if you have a light colored leather that you want to keep, real light, then don't do it. It does darken a little bit. The color does kind of come back. But it's just like, what are you using on your light skinned leather boots anyway? When you put the leather, the leather conditioner on there, it darkens it some.
A little bit, yeah, it does. Yeah.
There's a lot of different uses, and as I say, we guarantee it. That look, if you use it, you don't like it, give us a call, and we'll take care of you. But it's
and they
it's
go
a good
to
product.
Seal1. That's SEAL, the number 1.net. Leadheads. You can go there. Their whole line of products are listed there. It's the one product that, like Dwight said, it's in many different delivery methods, and it can be used for shooting, be used for archery, it can be used on leathers, it can be used on many different types of materials safely. I guess you could even put this on your upholstery in your vehicle and dashboard, and
I do.
I'm thinking Armor All here. I'm just thinking all kinds of crazy different uses for it, but
it is, and I mean it's and it doesn't leave it greasy. I use it on my dash, and actually after a few years of doing it, I mean I probably only do it once a year, wipe it down now, because it just keeps. I use it on the leather seats in my car.
Yeah, keeps them from cracking and whatnot.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could use it like a wax for your outside of your car.
I've done it.
Okay. Of course you have.
Yeah.
I was just thinking the old lead sled. It's a 98. It's seen better days. My dashboard's cracked, and my leather seats are cracked and there's paint and stuff.
It won't fix the crack.
It's not gonna fix it. Yeah, right. I'm too late for mine now, but
it'll make it look good.
There you go. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Maybe it'll bring some life back into it. I've got 322,000 miles on it and ticking. So
yeah.
Well, very good. And now you've set the lead heads up with a nice little discount. They can go to your website, seal1.net, and if they use the code NEW, N-E-W, they're going to get 25% off. So this would make a great Christmas gift, great Christmas stocking for the gun lover, the archery, anybody pretty much. So
yeah,
all around, good product there.
Use NEW and get 25% off.
There you go. I wonder if you could use it as a furniture polish. You said it's good on wood too.
Well, I can. Let me give you a
maybe outdoor furniture.
What a friend of mine told me. He goes, he used it on his wooden floor at home. He goes, but before you do, you better let your missus know about it because it was pretty slick. And when she came home from work and started sliding around the floor, he was told, I can't use that stuff anymore on my floor.
On my floor, yeah. It'd be like Clark Griswold, putting it on that sled. Make it super fast. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So again, Leadhead, seal1, SEAL1.net. Use the code NEW, 25% off for the seal1 products there. So let's get to TAZ Fabrication now. Let's let Kirk talk about TAZ Fabrication. And you said you've been doing this for about... Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, real quick, I just wanted to talk about the TAZ because that's when we first met him, which was through the Antiris. I, already being a member, and when they were new and first had kind of come to SHOT Show, and we were at the Antiris, the Try and Buy event, and I'm looking at their targets going, wow, these are really cool. And just started, looking at them a little bit. And I started talking about how our product could help his targets.
And we still use this product on the targets.
Longer life to the targets, right?
Yeah. Well, it just, and it helps for the modularity of it, when you're, taking it down, because I've got one, and I let it sit outside. As I said, I'm 5 blocks from the ocean, and I had treated the pieces with it, and I just let it sit outside for a year. Didn't store it inside because I wanted to see, okay, what's this going to do? And it's, for his product, also. And, there were no problems.
All right, Dwight. So don't tell your wife that I gave you this solution. But here's a way for you to get a motorcycle now. So you treat it with the Seal 1.
Oh, I've been told that before.
Yeah? Oh, okay. All right. I tried. Yeah. I'm trying.
Yeah, I'm trying.
So, Kirk, tell us about TAZ Fabrication.
Well, TAZ Fabrication started with 2 guys named after Tommy and Zach Coble. They started doing metal fabrication on the weekends. Tommy worked for Knife River Corporation and Zach worked for Eaton. He was quality control for their hydraulics plant. When I decided to quit teaching school, my wife said I needed a plan going forward and I couldn't be just a retired guy hanging out not doing anything. So I went up and talked to Tommy and Zach and we did some stuff, and I said, hey, is this something you guys just want to do on the weekends and drink beer and, work on bumpers and just do fabrication stuff, or do we want to really put some energy behind this and make this happen? And they said, well, let's put some energy behind it. So for about the first 6 months, I was the only full-time person doing sales and marketing pieces for TAZ Fabrication. And then we had the opportunity to get a contract with Republic Services, the big trash company. And so we went down to Phoenix, Arizona, and moved a big baler, cardboard baler, up to Merlin, Oregon, and got known for being ingenuitive and pretty quick on our feet and making things happen. So the next thing you know,
So what did you do with this baler?
we were in downtown Phoenix, Arizona at a transfer station, tore down an old baler, put it on two 18-wheelers, shipped it to Oregon, and then put it back together up in Oregon so they could start recycling cardboard.
Okay.
It was rather exciting and fun in an interesting couple of days at 108 degrees in downtown Phoenix. But yeah, so anyhow, to fast forward a little bit, the next thing you know, there's 4 of us now working full time for TAZ Fabrication. We do everything from making signs, that say cool things like talking lead. We
Oh, really?
We can do talking lead sign. We really have some neat designs. Like I mentioned, we did Charlie Melton sign out at a store.
Oh yeah.
We've done
Charlie's a long time
multiple things.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've done multiple pieces. I think we're still working with the white on a new sign out in Maine, but we just haven't moved that far forward yet. We talked about it at SHOT Show last year, and then everybody gets busy and we don't revisit things.
COVID hit.
Yeah, COVID hit, and so it put a stressor on all of us. So anyhow, we do signs all the way up to we work in a huge reducer in Northern California in a place called Milpitas, where we build hammers and anvils that take trash and make it smaller. And so from anything from small to big. But one of the things we really enjoy doing, we have 2 pieces that we do, I would say, from a lead head perspective. One is we do some R&D work. So we are working right now with a company called Walker Ridge. Walker Ridge is owned by Command Sergeant Major Mike Walker, who's soon to be retired. And he's come up with a new upper idea that we're doing the R&D for. And I talked to him before getting on the show, and we're getting ready. He's getting ready to roll it out. He's
an upper for yet. An AR?
An AR upper. Yep.
Okay.
An AR upper. And he just said, hey, there's more to follow. And you can see what he's kind of up to at walkerridge.com. But if you follow TAZ Fabrication, and if you follow what we do, we'll have that roll out. The plan actually was to roll it out at Try and Buy this year, prior to SHOT Show, but now that Try and Buy is no longer, I know we're trying to put something together in March out in South Carolina or North Carolina, and we may roll it out there, South Carolina. We may, yeah.
And for you lead heads,
at GTI.
Yeah, real quick, while you're talking, you lead heads can go to TAZFabrication.com. And as he's talking about this stuff, you can look at it. So go ahead.
So we've started to do some R&D things, and that's fun. We just bought a new 4-axis CNC machine that does and spins and creates things that it still blows me away. It's a pretty neat piece of equipment. So we do that R and research and development piece, and we're working with some companies through that process. Okay. Next thing that we do is we do build the Guardian target system. The way the Guardian target system came about is, and I'm sure this is true across the boards, but people that go out and shoot, they go out to the woods, and a lot of times they take an old TV or old crap and they just shoot it and then leave it out in the forest. One of the things that makes people like myself and Zach and Tommy mad who live up in the forest is clean up after yourself, would you? I mean, I don't care if you come from town and you shoot and you do that, but pick your shit up when you're done and take it out of the forest and just be a good steward. Because one of the things that we definitely don't need from people that love to shoot and are involved is other ammunition from our liberal friends on the left to say, well, they go up in the woods and they leave their shit everywhere. Yeah. So one of our pushbacks to that was, hey, let's create a target that folds down, that is small, that somebody could carry out into the woods and put anywhere in the woods that they want to. They can put it on a hillside. They can put it so it peeks out from the side of a tree. They could, put it at long distance and then be able to walk it out if they need to, or throw it in the back of your side-by-side, or throw it in the back of your four-wheeler and drive it out and set it up wherever you want to do, and then come back and shoot at it. So we came up with or Zach came up with the quad pod idea. So our targets actually sit on four legs, and each leg has 8 adjustments. So you can put that on any type of ground that you want to. And there's some videos out there and talking about Ron Bellin. Ron did our first video. So if you go to guardiantarget.com, you can look at the video that's out there, and you can actually see Ron out there shooting our target, moving it around and setting it on hillsides and doing some pretty neat stuff with it.
What are these legs made of?
The legs are made of, and we use Seal 1 on the legs, just so everybody knows. Put a punch in there for Seal 1 and Dwight. Actually, it was a great idea. He came up with the idea. It was a great idea. The legs are an aluminum outer with a steel metal inner. So the idea being, the reason we reinforce them that way is because you get some spalling, and we all don't hit the target every time. So
what?
It happens sometimes. So
not me, man. Come on.
Not you. I'm talking about other people. Not you or Dwight or anybody. Any of the lead heads. They're all great shots, especially right out the gate. So if
I was meaning to hit that leg.
That's where I was aiming. Just want to see if it'd hold up.
So if a round does drop into the leg and you're going to push it back, so you can push that aluminum back, and then your leg's still good to go. If you put a big hole in it, a big chunk comes out of it, just let us know and we'll send you a new leg. They're easy to put on, easy to put together, easy to slide back and forth. So that's what the legs are made out of. And then the center post is just a metal center post.
Disclaimer, if you send us all 4 back with multiple holes in it, that's not covered.
Correct. I would agree with that statement.
Somebody had a full auto day that day.
Yes, they did. And we brought some targets out to a range. Rainier Arms did, and Dwight was out for it for a couple of years. They did kind of a mini SHOT Show in Seattle. And we donated some targets to them for that show. And I will tell you that after range day, those things were a total disaster and mess. But the positive thing was they're still standing, and we could still break them down to the most part. Some of them were totally destroyed. But that's what you get when you just let somebody on full auto who's never done it before shoot at your target.
Sure,
they don't care.
Sure. Yeah.
It's an
some of those look like they were using the legs as the target.
Look how good a shot I am.
Yeah. So anyhow, that's the base design of that target, and the idea is that you can use that of the base. The idea is you can use multiple targets to interface into that base. So we build 5 or 6 different targets that interface directly into the same base system. So once you buy the base system, you've got it, and then you can buy the different targets in different thicknesses of AR plate that go through there.
Okay. Are you you're using AR 500?
We do. So so we build a hostage target. We've got a hostage with an eye. We've got just your plain Jane square target and a design target. We can really design, and we've done it for people. We had a guy call and say, "Can you make me a rabbit?" So we're like, okay. So we made him a rabbit out of AR plate, and we just made our little cuts that we used to go into the base, and we made it.
Have you got reactive targets?
We do. Okay.
We do.
We've got the spinner that we call the hostage spinner target. That spins back and forth. So yes, we do have those out
now,
there too.
Can you make a dueling tree?
We have made a dueling tree, yes.
Because I understand that in the past there's been like some issues with the people who invented that, and they've sued people who have done.
Oh, I haven't heard anything. I think I know we've.
Well, just so you know, if you look at doing one of those, it might be something you want to research.
Good. That's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So we do make a dueling tree, and then we've done one of the shooting stars.
Oh yeah, the Texas shooting stars.
We actually did that for Charlie.
Yeah.
So Charlie has our one and only Texas shooting star that also mounts onto the Guardian
base.
target.
It mounts on this. Okay. Because those can be heavy. So
they are. But
what's the weight?
Can I just as a plug? It really is a cool system. Here in Southern California, there's not a lot of outdoor shooting areas, and I go out to BLM land, and it was a pain taking the paper, setting it up there, and so having the steel, so you're getting the instant feedback.
Yeah.
But and I don't get to shoot in the same place all the time, so the ground is uneven. But with the adjustment of the legs and putting it out there, you can always have it setting up there. Want it low to the ground or up higher. It just and I just backpack it. So I mean it's cool.
Yeah.
No, the base is less than 15 pounds. The base doesn't really weigh anything.
And it telescopes up and down.
Yeah.
So you can adjust height levels and.
You can adjust height levels too.
Okay.
Yep.
So you can adjust the legs, and then you can adjust the neck.
Oh no, the neck
just the legs.
The same. Just the legs will telescope out.
Okay.
And then you can on the
the angle that you do the legs will do the height of the target.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I got you.
Correct. You can get extremely stable, so Charlie can shoot 50 cal at it too. So we've done that. We've been down that road.
From 5 miles away?
No, closer than that. Way closer.
Well, that's neat, man. This would be perfect. I've got a farm that I go to. I've got some private land that I go to, and the targets I have now, you have to stick them in the ground.
Yeah,
and again, you get that wobbly. After a while, they start getting wobbly. Depending on if the ground's really hard, trying to get it in the ground there. I mean, this would be amazing. Yeah. Yep. So it'll take a 50 cal and still stay on its base.
It will.
And Lefty, I think Kurt's got a code that you could save some money on.
We got another holiday code.
Are you gonna let Dwight take over your podcast here?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think he's excited for people to know about this. So
just so everybody knows, right now our targets are offered through a company called Go Gear Direct. So Go Gear Direct, even if you go to guardiantargets.com and you click order, it's going to take you to the Go Gear Direct order site. And then we drop ship through Go Gear Direct. We just drop ship right out of our shop directly to you. So you can either go to gogeardirect.com or guardiantargets.com. And then when you go, and if you put in...
is it guardiantargets.com or TAZFabrication.com?
You can, I think from Taz you can get to Guardian, but you can go directly to Guardian Target.
Okay, so you got several websites.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
You're confusing me, man.
Taz and Guardian are two separate websites, and then Go Gear Direct is the platform.
Is where you actually purchase it.
Yeah, where you actually purchase it.
Okay, so you can go to those other two websites, Taz or Guardian Target, and you can see the videos and the pictures and the descriptions, and then when you're ready to buy, Go Gear Direct.
Go Gear Direct, or you can buy off of Guardian Target, which is when you click on like the quad pod. When you click on it, it's going to take you right to Go Gear to purchase it. So you can purchase it off that site too.
Okay, cool. And when they get there, they're going to want to use this code that Dwight is so excited to give out.
Well, Go Gear 10. Just trying to help the Colonel out, I
know.
He's artillery.
I need help a lot. I am.
Yeah.
I don't hear very well.
Shell
I'm
shock.
old. Yeah, I got.
Well, at least he was smart enough to leave infantry.
Yeah, I did do that.
And he got into targets.
And I got into targets.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It really does. It really does. So another piece that we do is
wait. Let's give that code again. It's Go Gear 10, GOGEAR 10, and you're going to get 10% off, lead heads. So there you go, and that's any of your products.
Okay. That's it. Other than the fact that if there's anybody out there who's looking for somebody to do from a range redo perspective, so you have a range and you're looking at your deep targets that you need. If you want to hang metal or do that, we have had the opportunity to go in and rebuild a couple target or a couple ranges in the state of Oregon also. So we do have that experience. If there's a need, you've got your local range and you need some rebuild or you need some new steel that's hung correctly, that doesn't get shot down. One of the things that we find is if targets are hung by chains, the chains become the target, not the target itself. So especially on some ranges. So we have a unique hanging system that protects the hanging piece. So hopefully those people that are out using your range don't put knock your chain down after a day, and then you got to walk back out and hang it back up again and go through those pieces. So
I noticed that shooting with Charlie, that happens quite a bit.
Yes. I think all those Navy SEALs are like, oh, just knock the chain off and then we're done for the day.
Right,
Then we can go drink beer, because that's the way that works. While those guys are up fixing the chains, we're out drinking beer. They're smarter. They're really smart. I've learned that hanging out with them.
You never know when beer 30 is going to come along.
It's about that time now.
It
is.
Yeah, and I know we've got a lot of ranges that listen to our show. So if you guys are interested in that, they just contact you via email, call you, or
Yep, they can contact me by email. It's Kirk Mickelson at TAZFabrication.com.
And spell it out.
KIRKMICKELSEN at TAZFabrication.com.
See, I would have thrown an O in there, SON. So there you go.
Of course, yeah.
So
most people do.
Important to spell it out, especially on audio.
Or think I'm Phil Mickelson's cousin, which is not a bad idea.
And I would still spell his the same way.
Right. Well, and I wouldn't even have to be Phil Mickelson's cousin to beat Dwight in golf. I'm just going to throw that out there right now.
Now, did you say you are his cousin?
I've seen his golf swing. No, I'm not. But I wouldn't need to beat Dwight in golf. I've watched his golf swing. It needs a little.
But if you play true to form the way Dwight plays, you have to drink. It's beer 30 every hole.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter.
Oh, wow. He's calling you out, son.
Matter. I'm going to throw that out there. It just really wouldn't matter.
Well, I learned from watching Caddyshack how to take care of Judge Schmelz.
One of the all-time great movies.
I'd have to run pretty fast and just stay ahead of him.
Cut that Achilles, man. You'll push everything off. You'll quit the game.
Yeah, everything will push everything to the right.
Done and out. Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, make sure you go visit both the websites. It's SEAL1, SEAL, the number 1.net, and use the code NEW for 25% off there. And then give all those websites again for yours. For Taz.
For Taz, let's just go with the Guardian Target. So for Guardian Target, go to guardiantarget.com.
Okay.
And just click on the site, and it'll take you to the order site, and then that's the best way, I think, to explain it. And then you just put in Go Gear 10 for 10% off.
10% off.
Be the best way.
Yeah, talk about an excellent Christmas gift for your shooter that's out there. The Guardian Target stand would be perfect, and then of course they've got the compatible targets there too. So that would be a great Christmas present there, definitely.
With some SEAL1 to take care of your firearms and your targets.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I mean, SEAL1 will take care of everything. It'll take care of your car, your furniture, your boots.
It'll do it all. Yeah, we put SEAL1. SEAL1 goes on the legs, so when they go back and forth, really do a great job.
Oh, I was going to say
get in there.
The women's shaving. This is when you said legs. That's a.
Oh yeah,
put the SEAL1 on there.
I get my wife to try that.
We should try. Yeah, would it make a good shaving cream?
I don't know.
No. It's good for dry feet and hands though.
Oh, is it?
Lips.
Yeah.
Or
lips.
Yeah.
Definitely work on my
do
lips.
good as a shave base though. What if you credit carded it off?
No.
So great for everything, but we don't recommend you shave with it. There you go.
No.
All right, guys. I got a couple of more new guy questions that I want to finish up with you. And then we'll get to the wrap up here. So we've talked about your military background. The next question is there or has there ever been a piece of kit or maybe a firearm or something that maybe you're a little bit ashamed to admit that you've owned? And I'll start with Kurt. He looks like he's got something.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm ashamed of it or not, but the old I have a M16A2. That is old and beat up.
Why would you be ashamed of that? That's a
I don't know.
bragging
It's
thing.
old,
Like,
beat up.
yeah.
It's heavy. It's all those things, but it brings back such memories that from back in the day, shooting and doing those things. That's
a piece of history, baby.
When you shoot the old, when you shoot the new M4 and you're shooting that stuff, you just realize how outdated those are, and
but they're
how
still
heavy
fun to
they
shoot.
are. And yes, to an extent, but the new, it makes you appreciate the new weapons platforms. How about that?
Okay.
It really does. It really does.
I'll allow that.
It's not an ashamed thing. It's just one of those. It's like, yeah. Invariably, you pull one of those out on the range, people go, "Oh, really?" You just kind of get that.
What about you,
Just
Dwight?
tell them it's your nostalgic piece.
Yeah, it's my nostalgia. Yes.
What about you, Dwight?
Let
me rephrase yours. Maybe this will help you. When you
back
are
in the musket day,
when you remember the teams, I know that you guys had the opportunity to test out, a lot of up and coming, technologically advanced equipment. What's some of the jankiest equipment that you were ever issued?
Well, it was a couple. It was this guy comes up, and it was a knife company, and our guy in charge of the RDT&E stuff, and he comes up, he goes, "Use this knife; it'll never rust, and we're going to be able to go to these things." We took it out on, used it for 1 week on when we were doing some water work during one of a dive week, and he goes, "Yeah, all you have to do is you'll just rinse it off and it'll be fine." Well, that thing, it wouldn't even come out of the scabbard.
Oh my God!
Right at the end of the week, So there was about 5 of us that were testing this knife for him, and he was like, "Yeah, the teams, we're going to go to this knife," and we all threw it on his desk, and he was upset about that. And this other one, these pair of Chippewa boots we were given to use, and they're like, "Man, these things are going to keep you warm. They're nice and comfortable and really good." Well, I was in Alaska, and we were in Kodiak, and in Kodiak in the wintertime, it stays right at about 33, 34 degrees.
Yeah.
So it at nighttime it might get down, so you don't get a lot of snow. It's just freezing rain. And we were out doing some ops, and after one night, and it had just been raining all night, and as we were patrolling back in, my frickin' boots would not stay. They were so waterlogged that they just wouldn't even stay tied. Tied around. They just kept they just kept
a big old wet
down.
Noodle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So I threw those on his desk too when we got back and said, no, these aren't good, And the first Gore-Tex, when it came out, it didn't stand the
a little rough.
Pretty soon they got so waterlogged.
And nothing worse than wet feet. Yeah, no doubt. That's a horrible experience. Oh man. So you don't want to talk about what knife that was, huh? What company or anything?
Tell you the truth, I really don't remember. Because the guy was telling us, "Yeah, I'm going to this," and we're like going, "Well, look, we're diving this week. Let us test this out." And that thing was just, it was like, come on, and that's what when people say, "Oh, stainless steel, it's never going to rust." Bullshit, I mean, I haven't found one piece of stainless, through my career in there and still since then that will not rust,
Well, it's because it wasn't treated with Seal 1.
Well, right.
There you go.
So that's what you do, and then you'll be okay.
And you'll be all right. That's right. That rust will just wipe right off. All right, let's go to our next question. When it comes to pop culture, whether it's a movie, a TV show, a book, music, whatever it may be, what is your go-to for your escapism, for your relaxing? What do you like?
I listen to classic rock and older country music. You know, Hollywood nowadays pisses me off so much with, you know, it's like, look, you're an actor or a singer or an actress. Don't tell me your political views because I don't
Sure.
give a shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that
Just shut up and act, shut up and sing. I don't want to hear your political views. Entertain me.
yeah. So you know, I'm a classic rock and
Give me an example
know,
of classic rock, because classic is different to all generations. So.
Well, okay, 70s music is my favorite.
Okay.
Time. But look, I mean, the Stones, the Beatles, the Who, Aerosmith, the Doobie Brothers, and at times, hell, I even like to listen to. It depends when I'm in a mellow mood. I'll listen to Hall & Oates.
There you go. Yeah. What about disco? Do you ever go down that road?
Oh no! Well, I did at the time because I was there.
KC and the Sunshine Band. Come on.
Oh yeah, the Average White Band and
the Bee Gees.
Wow.
Yeah, but some Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings. I mean, you can never go wrong with Waylon.
Oh yeah.
And
little Hank Williams. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, Hank Jr.
Little Junior. Yeah.
Yeah. Kurt will attest because we've actually in Embassy Suites. We shared a room.
Yeah.
But I don't watch TV. I bring my music box. I bring my little Bose speaker, and that's I play music. You know.
Interesting.
And,
interesting. What about you, Kurt?
I'd much rather listen to music than listen to some news anchor talk about.
See, I'm kind of the now when I want to sit down and relax, yes, I want to listen to music and just chill out, have some bourbon, kick my feet up. But if I'm like driving or at the gym, I don't like listening to music. I like listening to information. I like to learn, whether it's podcast or whatever it may be. Now news. No, I don't like listening to the news. Fuck news. Hate news.
Yeah.
But I like listening to informational type, podcasts.
Yeah.
So what about you, Kurt?
I'm a Hair Nation guy. Sirius XM, Hair Nation.
Okay.
Scorpions, Van Halen, White Snake, big White Snake guy.
White Snake.
And enjoy some of the fringe stuff. Poison's good. Enjoy some of the fringe stuff. I was raised with U.F.O. I don't know if you're familiar with U.F.O. Macaulay Schenker Group. Some of that older stuff from the 70s that worked its way up.
Okay.
I enjoy some of that. From
Remember ELO?
No, UFO. UFO. Got to give all my love for Cherry, because for me she's only you. On the tabletop, she's dancing. Puts a smile into your feet.
I'm looking them up right now.
Turn around, Cherry, for me. Let me know I'm near. Look up UFO. Got to give all my love to Charity. It's a great song. From a movie perspective, I'm a Casablanca guy. I really enjoy the movie Casablanca.
Oh, talk about a classic.
Yeah, I enjoy that. Matter of fact, just watched it again. And then last night, my wife and I sat down and watched the ultimate Christmas ultimate Christmas movie. If you don't believe it's a Christmas movie, I don't think you're an American. Die Hard.
Die Hard. I was going to say, yeah. You're going down the Die Hard road.
Music. Yeah, now that is a great Christmas music.
They even label it under that when you go under.
I know.
Die Hard's on there, baby.
Now I have a machine gun, motherfucker. Ho, ho, ho. I mean, come on, it's awesome.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Great. So,
yeah, Alan Rickman, he's the all-time best bad guy ever.
Movies that just, make you feel good, and the good guy wins, and that's kind of where I go on the movie side of the house.
So I looked up UFO. They're still together.
Yeah.
They're doing a rock fest in Barcelona.
There you go.
Are they a German band? Because they're doing a lot of stuff in Germany.
I think they may have been a European band. I think that everything's got a relationship to Scorpions one way or the other, back and forth.
Right. Okay.
in that world. So no, it's good stuff. It's a lot of guitar, a lot of electric guitar stuff.
Gotcha.
You know, that 80s electric guitar thing.
So,
I enjoy.
Dwight, have you always not watched TV or movies? Not been into those at all?
Oh no, I mean if I watch TV, I love movies.
Okay.
You know, it's
What's your go-to movie?
I'd rather watch a movie than a TV program.
Sure.
You know, but it's like my wife comes in, she goes, "You're watching this again?" Oh, I like take the Dirty Dozen for instance. She goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, the ending changed." I said, "Yeah, Jefferson lives at the end this time." You know,
In my world, he does. Yeah.
yeah.
Can fantasize.
No,
Come on.
Yeah, so it's I'd much rather just watch a movie because if it's a movie I've seen before and I come in the middle of it, if it's a good one, then I don't care. It's
What's the best? And I'll ask you both this. What's the best military movie, in your opinion, and not necessarily just realistic, but just entertainment wise? What's your? You just named one that's one of my all-time favorites.
Well, Patton is one of my. Besides the Dirty Dozen, I love Patton. I think George C. Scott just did a tremendous job on that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What
would you say?
Sansa Iwo Jima with Stryker.
Yeah,
You know.
that's a good one.
Uh,
What about you, Kirk?
I enjoy one of my favorite World War II movies is A Bridge Too Far. I really enjoy that movie. Acting in it's good. The concepts behind it, and then I have always enjoyed Saving Private Ryan.
Oh
yeah. And there's some realism to that, and there's definitely emotion in that movie and there's some teaching points in that movie too. When I teaching young officer or young cadets to be officers, there's a lot of teaching points we used from that movie. So
The Band of Brothers is one that's
that's a good
series.
And the Pacific, I enjoyed the Pacific.
You know,
Yeah.
I tried to watch that, and I got maybe 4 or 5 into it, and then for some reason I lost interest, and I don't know why. I just couldn't get into it for some reason.
I'll tell you what, if you ever get the chance in New Orleans, go to the World War II Museum there, and they have a Pacific side and a European side, and the reason they had it there is because that's where the Higgin boats were made, so that's why New Orleans got picked to, and the Higgin boats were the landing craft, right? Without Normandy happening, who knows what would have happened on the European front?
Yeah,
you know, at that time, because though Germany was running low on supplies, but at that time they still had a really good strong hold, and but that is an awesome museum. It really is in New Orleans, the World War II Museum.
it's
And
the National World War II Museum in New Orleans. Yeah, they got a website there you can go to.
And in the National World War I Museum, which is also kick butt too, it's in Kansas City, and that's an incredible museum too. Yep. So both you get the one in New Orleans and the one in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Kansas City.
We did a jump there for Veterans Day.
Did you?
At the
World War I Museum.
Yeah.
Very cool.
There's some things when you walk through that are just blow you away. I mean, because we don't cover World War I a lot in what we do, and so the history behind that is horrific, to say the least.
Yeah, the conditions that they had to fight in. I mean, you thought World War II was bad. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, next question is, what is your next firearm piece of kit that you're looking at purchasing, adding to your arsenal? What's on your radar?
Well, you talked about, what was that Browning that
The
package?
Buck Mark 22?
Yeah.
You going to enter the contest? You need to enter.
I might do that. Then let me tell you why. My wife is a Browning. So from the Browning Rifle Works goes back, her grandmother's a Browning, and so the Brownings are a big Mormon family, and so we have in the family on my wife's side, we have all the history books
Oh,
of the
nice.
Brownings and where we went to. So my father-in-law had this, and nobody knows what happened to it, but he had this Browning 22 with the gold inlays and everything that he'd gotten when he was a kid. Somewhere in the shuffle of the world, it got lost. So my thought is maybe the next thing we need to do is buy a really nice Browning and then memorial the family and
Well, I mean,
moving forward from that.
if you've got the lineage there, maybe they'll give you one. You don't have to.
No,
Maybe you won't have to buy it.
I ask my wife all the time, where are my Mary Janes, out of this deal? And it's just too far apart and down the line. And
well, I can help
everything
you with
else.
that. Enter the contest, and you got an
I
opportunity,
do that.
and you'll get a nice Stealth Project 22 can with it too.
There we go.
Yeah,
There you go.
it's really.
brought that
I
up.
want to win that.
I wrote that down. So yeah, there we go.
Well, I'm going to join, and Marty, we'll send you something for to go with each. So you have 5 of them you're giving away, right?
Yeah, but it's too late to
level?
do it now.
Oh,
But we
okay.
we will definitely be doing it again sometime soon. So our lead heads love to get giveaways and prizes. So we'll set something up with Seal 1 to get some.
Well, let's do
product.
a target. Let's do we'll ship you, or we'll just do a quad pod and then our triangle target with that too, with the Seal 1 piece. So let's.
There you
let's
go,
put something
leadheads.
together.
We've already formulated another giveaway.
Okay.
Not yet, though. We're gonna talk off air and we'll set it up and we'll come up with a way for you guys to enter and do it. But hell yeah, thanks guys. That's awesome.
Well, here's for all the lead heads that go purchase from the seal1.net and use the code NEW. If they write in there talking lead and put in a T-shirt size, and they do at least a $25 order, we'll throw in a free Seal 1 T-shirt.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Write that down, leadheads. This is a lot. Write it down. Write the codes down. Write the websites down. That's awesome. So there's a place when they go to order, they can leave you a note or comment or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they should be able to.
Okay. If you can't, shoot me an email, talkinglead@gmail.com. Show me your order confirmation, and I'll forward it to Dwight.
Yeah.
We'll get you a shirt. Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
I don't even have a Seal 1 T-shirt. That's
So what's
bullshit.
your gotta want to have next
Order.
piece of kit, Dwight? Use the code NEW.
Use the code order. Okay, I'll talk to Scott about that. I'll circumvent you.
That's what most everybody does.
We'll just
take it to the top.
Get you, Dwight. Take it to the top.
So Dwight, what's your next piece of kit or firearm that you're eyeballing?
It was a Cobalt Kinetic.
Oh God, those things are awesome.
It's their AR-10 platform. I was shooting that, and I was just really. I mean, it wasn't heavy. It's the 308. I say 7.62.
Sure.
But it was sitting there. I mean, I could shoot that thing just resting it on my hand without gripping it, and keep it on target.
Oh wow.
I was just really amazed. But I did that a few times, and then because I wasn't making it stable, I caused it to malfunction because
you were holding it firm.
Yeah.
Jacking
but
the
I
recoil
would just,
up, yeah.
I was seeing how many shots I could keep going, and I was just resting it on my hand, shooting it, and hitting the target at 25 yards. But it was just bang, 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 bang. And it was around the 8th shot that it double fed, but that was my fault.
Yeah,
because I wasn't,
limp wristing
it. Yeah, but as I said, but I was doing that on purpose to see if I think it was more than that, more rounds than that. But I was just, it was very sweet, and I just I want to look at building with another buddy of mine, maybe a 6.5 with some. I've been eyeballing
Grendel or
parts.
Creedmoor.
Creedmoor.
Creedmoor. Yeah, the AR-10 platform, nice. Now, POF has a really super light AR-10 also.
Yeah, I know. I've shot that, and I've got a well, I know of it. Someone that has one of their ARs that I've shot, but I like their guns.
Yeah,
they make some good stuff too, and
definitely.
So,
but Cobalt's just got that look about them too. Just they've got that next level kind of look to them, and they're really cool.
Well,
I agree with you.
But their buffer system is what makes that to where it fires so smooth.
Yeah.
And because I do like the PWS, I mean, I like the POF, the Revolution. That thing is real sweet too.
Oh yeah. All right. So next question is: laws be damned, money be damned. What would you own?
Well, I want to have a compound because I want to have it built where it's
impenetrable.
No. This is something that I want to do for my family. I have 4 children, 9 grandkids right now.
Oh wow!
And I'd like to have a little bit of a compound where it's the main living space is only the kitchen and living room and all, and then from there would have about 10 little casitas around it. That's the living space. Okay. So when you're there in your living space, or if I'm in mine, leave me the fuck alone. When I'm in the common space, talk to me and let's do that and
interact.
Yeah. And and I'm looking at some areas where I want to do this at.
Now, how much land would you need to build this ideal facility for you?
I could do it on 2 acres, but I'd prefer about 20.
Okay. So, I mean, again, laws be damned, money be damned. So you want 20 acres at least.
Yeah, because that way I can have my shooting range right there.
Okay. Now we're getting into this no rules, no money limit. Okay. Keep going. So there's a shooting range.
And,
okay.
Yeah. And
set up with Guardian targets.
Oh yeah. And I only
shooting a
need
Cobalt AR-10.
Yeah, only need them out to about 1,500 meters. That's fine.
Look, man, we're talking excess here. We're talking excess. Rules be damned, money be damned. You've got a 3-mile shooting radius.
Yeah, I'd have Charlie build me a nice gun.
There you go. There you go. Now you're getting the gist of the question. Now, it's like it's like if I won the lottery, kind of thing.
Yeah.
What about you, Kirk?
I would enjoy a nice island somewhere where the highs were 85 and the lows were 60, but my own damn island with my own boat access. I probably have a couple helicopters, but for everybody else, you'd have to get there via boat, and you'd have to be vetted to come in. The only people that would live on my island would be people that were productive people that had a skill that would help everybody else who lived on the island. There wouldn't be a ton of people, but I can't just be by myself. I enjoy people to an extent. So, people that are productive, that can teach me things and make me a better person. A couple of helicopters, and I'd have a fleet of 1964 Corvettes, convertibles.
There you go.
Those things are kick-ass bad. I've been watching the series, The Right Stuff on Disney, and the Apollo guys.
I just watched that again.
64 Corvettes for $1 or whatever.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And those cars they just don't make those cars like that anymore at all whatsoever. So I'd have a couple of those hanging out. Some air defense artillery pieces just to keep out the riffraff, and then
a couple of miniguns.
My first artillery piece was an 8-inch. So they used to be able to shoot the nuke rounds and stuff. So I'd have a couple of those because I could go get those out of the museums now. One of the things I joke about is, you've been in the military for a long time when if your first piece of equipment sitting in the military museum on post.
Is that what you told your wife? This is my big 8-inch.
That's what I told. Yes, I did. I said, Beth, I have an 8-inch that I drive all over the place. It's awesome. So I probably have a couple of those just to shoot those for sentimental values. Keep them running.
I don't fold it in half for nobody.
Yeah. No. So Oh God. It took me a minute. I'm an Army guy. The quickest
shell shock.
Army training, sir.
Yeah. So now it's something like that where I was by myself on an island. As I'm getting older here, my bones don't like the cold as much. Maybe I need to move down to Coronado.
My bones don't like anything. My bones don't even like walking.
Yeah, maybe I need to move down, live on an island like Dwight, grow my hair long, get a nice mustache, and a Harley.
Well, we like both going to the same island,
Yeah, I know we do. Yeah, I leave Friday for the island. So,
what island are you going to?
Going to the Big Island, of Hawaii. My wife and I go for about a month every year.
Oh, nice. You going to do any hunting?
I'm not sure about that. I do a lot of golfing.
I bet Dwight knows a good outfitter he could hook you up with.
I know he does.
Yeah.
So I might. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. I go there to not think ahead. I go there to just be. It's the place in my world. I tell my wife I can just go to Hawaii and be, and it's nice.
All right, last question. If you could spend the day at the range with anyone, whether they're a fictional character, a true-to-life character, person, group, they could be alive, they could be dead. It could be a group of people. Who would you like to spend the day at the range with?
That's easy for me, John Wayne.
The Duke.
The Duke. Spend the day at the range with the Duke. Listening to stories.
What would you ask him? What would be the first question that you would ask him?
What do you think of America today? Would be my first question I'd ask him.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Did you see that interview that they released to him? He was like on this boat and they were interviewing him and he was just giving his personal...
That was his Playboy article interview.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it. Is it awesome?
I would say so, yeah. For
Yeah,
somebody to speak their mind like he did.
Yeah.
Well, and it was from that interview that they were talking about, well, we need to remove the name from
the John Wayne
airport.
Airport?
Yeah.
Really? Airport, schools, roads,
Okay,
everything.
I did hear about that. I haven't heard the interview, but I know.
Well, he's racist.
John Wayne Airport in Burbank or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he gives some racist opinions, but
Yeah.
that's the way it was back then,
You got to put it in context.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the thing is, at that time, what they were saying at the time, what he was saying was not
No, not at all.
racist.
Yeah. Oh.
And he was just stating the way it was.
Yeah.
And it's not everything, as he even said, it's not everything I agree with.
Right.
But
Exactly.
yeah.
It's context.
John Wayne
Context.
guy.
It was taken out of context and tried to use against him. But yeah, that's a great.
That's another one of those movies where you just put some John Wayne movies on, like Big Jake McCandles, and just zone out in the world.
Yeah. What about you,
Yeah.
Dwight?
God, I mean, anybody.
Anybody. You could be real, fictional, dead, alive, historical. It's like John Wayne. He just brought John Wayne back to life and spent the day.
Yeah.
Only here on the Talking
I
Lead
can do that.
podcast. Yes.
Yeah. Even then, I mean, a great day at the range is when you're out there with unlimited ammo, unlimited weapons,
Yeah.
and good friends, and you know what? Hey, I wouldn't mind having the Duke there, but I would also like to have
Group of people's
probably
fine.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy.
Oh, yeah.
Rough Rider.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another American. Yes.
And just let them see, man, Teddy, if you guys would have had one of these babies when you were riding up that hill.
Oh yeah, it's like bring Teddy back, bring some old historical figures back, George Washington even, and say,
Yeah.
what could you have done with this?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That would be interesting. Yeah, George Patton, bring him back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be interesting.
That would be a good day. That's a range day that I would attend.
Yes.
No doubt. Well, guys, I appreciate you spending these 3.5 hours with the lead heads and sharing your most intimate, deepest personal secrets with us today. But lead heads, definitely go show Dwight and Kirk some love. Where's your social medias at that they can go and follow you guys and let you know how much they appreciate you being on?
Well, we're on Facebook and Instagram. Seal1 and Seal1 _ on Instagram.
Seal1 _ okay, on the grams.
Yeah.
And we're TAZ Fabrication on Facebook.
And it's TAZ.
TAZ Fabrication.
Fabrication. Definitely go check them out. Go to their websites. Use those codes. Buy those products. You're not going to be disappointed. And then don't forget, Dwight threw that extra T-shirt offer in there. So when you go and use the code NEW 25%, put in Talking Lead or Lead Head in the comments or notes section there and your shirt size, and they'll send you a T-shirt also. So that's awesome. So appreciate you guys doing that. And then we're going to put together, sounds like we're going to put together another giveaway.
Yeah, let's put another giveaway together.
So
let's do it.
We'll talk about that off air. We'll put that together. We'll give you Lead Head's information on that once we get it put together. But in the meantime, go to our current giveaway. We're calling it the Christmas Ain't Canceled giveaway. And we've got a shift ton of prizes from, and I'm going to go through all these people. Glock. They're putting up a G48. Sky's putting up 2 of their CPX 2RDs. That's their 9mm pistols with red dots. We've got 2 packages, one each with those in it, and the Buck Mark 22 LR pistol that's going to be coming with that Stealth Project suppressor can. Of course, all laws, rules, regulations apply here. If you can't own a firearm, don't enter. Don't waste our time. If we pick you, we're going to vet you. We're going to find out. You'll be disqualified, and then I'll get to keep it. So.
So in other words, enter anyway.
Enter anyway. Yeah, do it. No, don't, because you can't have it. The Smith & Wesson M&P 9mm pistol from Primary Arms. Primary Arms is putting that one up for us. Got Night Vision putting up sights for that G48 and the Smith & Wesson. Glow Rhino has some of their products, glow-in-the-dark key fobs and a tritium pry bar that they're putting in each of these packages. Crossbreed Holsters has one of their concealed carry weapons packs that's got a belt, a holster, and a mag pouch. Armament Systems and Procedures, ASP U.S.A., is putting up 5 of their T1 DF rechargeable flashlights. So each of the packages is going to have that in it. Mission First Tactical just dumped all over us with prizes. They've got 5 EDC dump trays, 5 minimal wallets, not Wallaced. Those are going to have the Talking Lead logos on them. They've got a M18 Red Smoke evac drink container that you can put your favorite beverage in. It's going to be awesome. They'll have 5 of those. Mark III Tactical flip top OC spray, and they have 5 of those, one of each in each of the packages. Geisley Automatics is putting up 5 of their everyday carry pistol backpacks. Those are like $190 each. Buck Knives is putting up 5 of their 112 Slim Pro knives. Very cool pocket knives. And you're kind of getting a theme here. This is all EDC stuff, stuff you're going to carry. You can throw in that backpack, carry with you anywhere you go, make it a go bag. Diamond Leather Holsters is putting up a holster for that G48. Talking Lead, we're throwing in a Talking Lead logo tee, 5 of those, and our Leadhead Brigade patches from 1776 United. And then 1776 United is going to add an additional $25 gift card to each of these packages. So you can go and buy another Talking Lead shirt or anything from 1776 United. And Founders Cigar Company. We even got cigars in this in this giveaway package. We've got a sampler 4-pack from Founder Cigar Company that you're going to get. If you're not a smoker, if you don't like some of these prizes, again, give them away to somebody, re-gift. And then I mentioned Stealth Project Suppressors has their S222 rimfire suppressor. Modern Spartan Systems is putting up their Starter Kit Plus, which will have their grease, their accuracy oil, carbon destroyer, and there's another one in there. It's a lens cleaner that's going to be in that kit. That's like a $55 kit. And their TVT engine oil additive, which is what I run in the lead sled, which is why I've got over 325,000 miles on the old lead sled, because I use that TVT engine oil additive. So you guys are going to get the opportunity to win that. Obsidian Arms has a 12-piece punch kit that they're going to include in those 5 packages. And they also are including an AR-15 bolt carrier pin kit in each of those. Operator Coffee, which you guys are familiar with, part of the Antares Alliance. They're going to put 5 bags of coffee. And so each of those is going to get some coffee. And I think Obsidian is a member of Antares Alliance too, if I'm not mistaken. I know they go to the try-and-buys.
Correct. They are.
Ready Man Network is putting up one of their wilderness survival cards and their hostage escape card. They are also going to include a compact bleeder kit. So that's going to be, it's one of their best-selling EFAC emergency first aid kits. Treat gunshot wounds, traumatic wounds, things like that. And to add to that, Student of the Gun is going to have their combat lifesaver kit and their pocket lifesaver kit included in that. And I think they're going to include a T-shirt also from Student of the Gun. Prime One Camo, they're another Antares member. We originally were going to have cooler bags, but I guess they sold out of those inadvertently. And she's changed it to, I think they're going to do some sort of a like winter jacket or coat with one of their camo patterns on there. So even better, because I think that's even more money than what the cooler bags were. So all in all, over 10,000 in prizes. We've got 5 prize packs for each one of those guns. You're going to get, the winner's going to get all that stuff I just mentioned in each one of those 5 prize packs. You've got until December 24th. Go to Instagram. I've got posts there for links. Mission First Tactical's got links. All these companies have links to go to the Gleam. It's one of those Gleam contests. I've got it on Facebook. And then if you still can't find it, then just shoot me an email, talkinglead@gmail.com, and I'll shoot you a link because we want everybody to have an opportunity to have a great Christmas. So that's it. That's what I've got. Go and support and show love to these companies. Go to their social media, subscribe to them, let them know you're Leadheads. Let them know you appreciate everything that they do for the Leadhead Brigade and all these awesome giveaways, these discount codes like Dwight at Seal 1 has given us today. Kurt with TAZ Fabrication has given you Leadheads. And then that giveaway we're going to do with them coming up. Guys, thank you so much for being on, taking the time. Any last words?
Wish everybody a wonderful holiday and enjoy your families and the time that you have together. And that's it. I enjoyed talking to both of you. I always enjoy talking to Dwight most of the time anyway.
Well, I forgot how much I enjoyed talking to him. We're going to have to make this happen more often, definitely.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we just want to, wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And, hey, get out and spend some time with family.
Absolutely. Christmas ain't canceled.
Nope. No, it's not.
Don't buy into that gibberish. Go visit loved ones. Do it. Again, be responsible about it. But I know you Leadheads are. So until the next episode, as always, Leadheads, keep your loved ones close.
And your firearms closer. Especially when they got Seal 1 on it, then, it can be a concealed carry and it won't get your clothes oily.
That lint will just fall right off.
Yeah.
And your weapons closer and your shooting accuracy increased with the use of Guardian target systems.
Laced with Seal 1.
Laced with Seal 1.
Laced.
That sounds kind of sexy.
Use the paste.
I like it.
Outtakes.
Hey, so Dwight, it's been a long time since we talked, man.
Yeah, it has. How you been?
Been real good. You feel like you've been working out a little bit, gotten in shape, lost some weight.
No, it's just shifted.
Shifted. It's all between the legs now.
Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I saw you when you had the even longer hair. I guess it was probably the last time I saw you. You had the ponytail going.
Well, I didn't put it in a ponytail. I just it could have been.
You had it back. Yeah, you had it back.
Yeah,
definitely. Now, did I inspire you to do that, or was that Ron?
Well, actually, before I went in the Navy, my hair was down kind of the middle of my back. So
you're
you're
a peg banger before you went into the SEALs, huh?
Yes.
Heavy metal.
No, actually, I wasn't a heavy metal guy. I was, as one of my coaches had told me. He goes, you're a jock with long hair, and it was like, yeah, well, hey, as Kurt will say, it flows.
It flows.
So
he does the Fabio throw. I can't do that, but he does that Fabio throw sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
It just knocks me on my feet. Yeah, that one. Just knocks you on your feet.
So for the past 6 years, I've grown my hair out. I grow it out and I donate it. I'm debating whether I want to go for round 4 or not.
I was doing that, and then Ron had told me, he goes, they don't want gray hair.
Not only do they not want it, they won't take it.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, well. And actually, it was in 2016, right after my third daughter's wedding. It was a couple of days after the wedding. I was going to shave, and I just looked in the mirror. I said, I'm growing a beard, and I'm growing my hair out. And I was like, if I have the beard going, then my wife, it'll take away the look from the hair. So,
distract her from the hair. Yeah.
Yes.
So it was all tactical in how you did it.
Yeah. So then she told me, she goes, you can have long hair when you bring home your first $1 million. And
what is it with these $1 million quotas?
I don't know. I kind of asked that myself. But it was like, all right.
Well, apparently you hit that mark. So
yeah.
Congratulations.
No, I haven't hit the mark.
No.
I just said, screw it.
Just the hell with it.
Yeah. She just didn't want it down to my shoulders. So it's not, this is shorter than the back. So
it's there. Yeah. It's good length. You wear it well, man.
He does. I agree with that wholeheartedly. He wears it well.
Yeah. So I think you should
people
be
can
next,
pull it
Kurt.
off, but he can't. No,
Yeah.
I try. It touches my ears, and I'm done.
You get it past that stage, and you're fine. Because I was the same way. You just forget about it. Don't look in the mirror. Don't worry about it for once it hits that point for about 2 months, and you're good. You're golden, man.
I did No Shave November till November 27th, and I couldn't do it anymore. So I tried. I gave it some try.
Well, see, I'm at where the bangs, when they're hanging in the face, it bugs me. But I just now got to the length where it stays back enough to not hang down.
That forward weight keeps it back.
Yeah.
They make product too, man. I mean, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing unmanly about throwing a little product in there. I'm just saying.
Hair chat with the white settle. I like that.
Right?
We should do that. Hair chat. Former Navy SEAL.
That's what we're doing.
Hair chat. How to manage your bangs.
This is all going on the show. This is all going on the show.
Episode 5: How to manage split ends.
The Talking Lead Hair Series. Episode 1. So, Kurt, I edit in noises and sound effects and stuff like that during the show. And I do edit, so If you fuck up and say something that you want to say over, you can do that. So I go back and edit all this shit out, and I make it seamless. I've been told I'm an editing genius.
It's good to be told you're a genius.
Well, editing anyway.
Yeah, Kurt's never heard that.
Kurt, are you got flashing lights, or is that just your camera?
I don't know.
Okay, it looked like maybe you had Christmas lights going on there or something.
No, I don't. Oh, maybe. No, I think you're seeing a reflection. No Christmas lights.
Okay. Are you seeing that, Dwight?
Yeah, I think it's him rocking. It's the reflection off his glasses from the.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
How's that? Better?
No, it's fine. I thought maybe you turned your disco lights on there. You're getting in the mood.
I was thinking about it. I keep envisioning Dwight in 1977 in San Diego at the Copacabana disco and with his hair flowing, tight spandex with polyester suit.
It was Houston. And what was the name of the place? Sorry. Yeah.
Did you have one of those suits? Those polyester,
the disco,
the big collared
with the big collars and stuff. You got any pictures?
Big button down, hairy chest.
Yeah. You have a medallion right about here.
Yeah.
Gold chains.
No, I just had some silk shirts to go with my jeans.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Boots. Jeans and boots and the silk shirt. I'll dig it.
Big thick collar. Love it.